And they've got pretzel bites that are out of this world. Do yourself a favor and stop by there. They've got desserts like fruit smoothies and sinful sundaes, and they've got you covered. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, catering. They can even customize the shape of pretzels for parties. So for more information, check them out online. You can find them at pretzelstop.com or at 1650 Jungerman Road in St. Peters.
97.1 FM Talk and The Dave Glover Show are celebrating 20 years on the air, featuring great moments like this, brought to you by Michael's Flooring Outlet.
What's with the hand soap in the bathroom? No. It's got sea salt in it.
Yes, yeah.
And when you wash your hands, it feels like sandpaper, and you're like,
we have to rinse it off.
Really?
Well, what are you talking about?
Oh, Glove, you shouldn't have done that.
Some sea salt in
well,
your
no,
soap.
but
you
no.
can put sea salt on your nuts,
Sure.
but you don't have to put sea salt in your.
Hey.
No, we get them. We get those giant.
Sure. Right, those nuts.
Have those giant nuts and sea salt.
And
on
the sea salt.
You roll how you want to roll, man. You want to put sea salt on your nuts? I know I washed my hands for the last time in that bathroom, though.
Listen. Mike of Michael's Flooring Outlet. Proud to be Dave's first live endorsement and being part of so many sweet memories for the past 20 years. Thank you again, St. Louis and the Dave Glover Show. 97.1. Rock on. Check me out. IGotFloored.com.
97.1 FM Talk, keeping you plugged in while wireless. Download the radio.com app for your phone or listen by smart speaker. Hey Alexa, hey Siri, play 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your tech. IT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, sis, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, you have a great smile.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, he does. You're so handsome when you smile.
She just kept going with it. And it, like Savannah Guthrie got up and then punched her in the face. It was really unbecoming to see that kind of a cat fight in the middle of a town hall. But, that was...
Oh, that wasn't Savannah Guthrie saying that? Because
Savannah Guthrie hunted that woman down.
Yes. Oh, okay.
That wasn't in the script. What are you doing? So we watched town hall last night. I watched the Trump town hall, and then I watched the second 30 minutes of the Biden town hall, and then I watched Tucker, and then I watched Hannity, and then I watched some Shannon Bream. And it got to the point where it got late enough last night that I was trying to catch up on everything because there's so much going on that I thought, you know what? I'm just going to stay up and I'm going to watch all of these shows tonight, and then I'm going to sleep tomorrow morning or when I'm dead. It is what it is at this point. I'm tired. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing a hat today, and I wasn't even sure how this was going to work out, but it's got to the point where I don't care. Looks good.
Did Tucker have any bomb drops like he said he was going to?
Yes,
he did.
Massively. Like, okay. When you
watch.
So I saw on Tucker, I saw a tweet. I guess it was either from Tucker. I think someone sent it to me that Tucker had put out, and it was like major exclusive email reveal, and he walked us through it. I have all the sound. You want to hear what he said last night?
Yeah. If you're ready, I'd love to hear it.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I mean, we can honestly do whatever you want today.
let's
you want to talk about polls for 3 hours?
Let's do polls and then re-air Tucker.
Okay. I mean, like, it might be the best show that we ever do.
That's where we all are in the week.
Yeah.
It's officially jumped the shark for me because I know so much information, but I'm taking naps now, so I can't tell people.
on the
Isn't
breaks.
it daytime right now. I said to Katie, I forgot to pick music for today. So if you love the music, it's up to Katie to pick good stuff. If it sucks, then that's because I didn't pick it. And I told Katie, I gotta go to Starbucks. I said we were supposed to have a staff meeting today, and I said I'm skipping the staff meeting and I'm going to Starbucks. But what I ended up doing, because I'm a rule follower and I felt guilty, is I listened to the staff meeting on my phone when I went to Starbucks. So I did not, in fact, skip the staff meeting, but I was in the Starbucks line getting my fuel for the rest of the show here, because without that, I was not going to make it to 3 p.m.
I can't believe you did that, because I did the exact same thing.
You got that cup from Starbucks?
No, not Starbucks.
Do you remember when the design of that cup became a t-shirt?
No. Oh, wait. I think I do, actually.
Maybe not that one specifically. It's the blue and the purple squigglies. It's on. I don't even know what the brand is. All right, you want to dive right into Tucker?
Let's go.
Tucker, this is a public service to you, and this is pieced apart so we can kind of talk about it as we go. And basically, you're seeing the stories evolve with the New York Post, and you're seeing the question is, and this is, I'm going to preface everything that we talk about with these Hunter Biden emails and this laptop. It smells fishy to me that a laptop that contains all of this information gets dropped off at this store to somebody who's blind and can't exactly verify the veracity of who dropped it off. So if you are thinking that, but you don't want to say it out loud because you want the contents of it to be true more than you want to know the details of how it got there, don't push that part away. Leave yourself open to finding out what the truth is. And the truth is, maybe Hunter Biden did go drop this off and forget that he did it. And then it landed in this person's hand and they went through it and they saw all this stuff on it and turned it over to the FBI. Maybe everything we know is true. Usually everything we know is part of the truth. The question is, what percentage of that accuracy do we have? So keep that in mind, because certainly at this point of time going into the 2016 election, when the dossier hit and everything, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so salacious, blah, blah, blah. And look at how far they got with it. And it turned out to be completely fabricated. So that is the precursor to what we are hearing. However, Hunter Biden has not come out and denied any of this. And of course, last night at the Trump town hall, Donald Trump was aggressively and hostilely forced to denounce white supremacy again and QAnon. He apparently is so connected to these two entities that Savannah Guthrie was roughing him up over making sure that he denounced both of these things. But Joe Biden didn't get asked a single flipping question about Hunter's emails. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, and George Stephanopoulos was cuddling with him during the event. It was very strange to watch. Let's listen into what Tucker here has to say. And like I said, this is going to be something that we're going to kind of walk through piece by piece, and we'll get your reaction as we go. This is from Tucker last night.
This morning, the New York Post published a series of emails that describe Hunter Biden's lucrative relationship with a Ukrainian energy company called Burisma, and then describe how his father, then the vice president of the United States, intervened to help his son peddle influence. Now, we've known the outlines of this story for quite some time, but these emails add damning detail. No one appears to dispute that they're real, not even the Joe Biden campaign. You're hearing whispers tonight it's all part of a Russian disinformation campaign. If this is a hoax, it is the most complex, sophisticated hoax ever perpetrated. It doesn't seem possible. There are too many. There's too much detail. These emails came from a laptop, an Apple laptop, that was dropped off at a Delaware computer repair shop last year and then abandoned there. After a certain number of days with no payment, the shop's owner took legal possession of the laptop. He looked inside. There were tens of thousands of emails, including exchanges with representatives of foreign companies and foreign governments. The laptop apparently belonged to Hunter Biden. The shop owner was stunned by this, by the appearance of corruption, and he was afraid for his family. So late last year, he gave the laptop to the FBI. He kept a copy of the hard drive for himself.
So that's the genesis of where this laptop came into the possession of folks, the FBI, and then eventually Rudy Giuliani, which is how we know about it now, and the New York Post as well. Here he continues.
But he never heard back from the FBI. By May, he was anxious, so he made overtures to Senator Mike Lee's office and at least one conservative nonprofit. He emailed their websites, but no one responded. Finally, the man contacted Rudy Giuliani's office, and today's story is the result of that. The tech monopolies instantly crushed it the moment it appeared. An executive at Facebook called Andy Stone, a former Democratic staffer, announced that his company would censor the New York Post story. As he put it, Facebook would be, quote, reducing its distribution on our platform. Twitter quickly followed suit by locking the New York Post's entire Twitter account. One of the biggest newspapers in the world banned from Twitter. Twitter then prevented its users from sharing the New York Post story, both privately and publicly. Those who tried to share it got this message, quote, your tweet couldn't be sent because this link has been identified by Twitter or our partners as being potentially harmful. Harmful? In a separate explanation, Twitter wrote this, quote, we don't permit the use of our services to directly distribute content obtained through hacking that contains private information, may put people in physical harm or danger, or contains trade secrets. Yes, the same Twitter that just promoted a New York Times story about the president's private tax returns, obviously obtained illegally, that Twitter. And who, by the way, was hacked here? No one was hacked. Twitter never addressed that. As for, quote, trade secrets, there were none. We already knew that Hunter Biden was trading on his father's office to make 50 grand a month from the Ukrainians. In October, he admitted it.
You didn't have any extensive knowledge about natural gas or Ukraine itself, though.
No, but I think that I had as much knowledge as anybody else that was on the board, if not more.
In the list you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Yeah, no.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the vice president of the United States.
So you have him going through these emails, and you see the weave that is happening here, where Hunter Biden's access is his purpose is directly connected to his father, who is the vice president of the United States.
We knew the outlines. What we didn't know until today was how brazen this was. Hunter Biden didn't simply sell access to his father, the vice president, or take cash to influence American foreign policy. No, it's weirder than that. As he schemed to extract more money from Burisma, Hunter Biden didn't refer to his father as his father. He referred to Joe Biden, the vice president, as, quote, my guy. On April 13th, 2014, for example, Hunter Biden wrote this to his business partner, quote, the announcement of my guy's upcoming travel should be characterized as part of our advice and thinking, end quote. Hunter Biden added that he needed to be, quote, protected financially and wanted a long-term role with Burisma. Quote, the contract should begin now, not after the upcoming visit of my guy. That should include a retainer in the range of $25,000. It's not clear if Biden got that retainer, but we know he did get a high-paying job at Burisma. Then in May 2014, just weeks after Hunter Biden joined the board of that company, a top executive there let him know why he was being paid. Very explicitly, quote, we urgently need your advice on how you could use your influence to convey a message, signal, etc., to stop what we consider to be politically motivated actions. The executive wrote that in an email. Quote, use your influence to convey a message. What message? What does that mean? Well, another email from the same executive obtained by the New York Post, dated April 17, 2015, explains in very clear terms what it means. Quote, Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together. It's really an honor and pleasure. Oh, that's what you're not allowed to read.
So are we seeing here how this is becoming a problematic? Are we seeing here how the connections, the timelines of the connections are specifically tied to Hunter Biden's relationship with Burisma, their connection to this Ukrainian company, the fact that Ukraine has a prosecutor looking into some goings on in Burisma, that this Ukraine prosecutor needs to go away. Hunter Biden is being asked to use his, quote, influence, his connections to influence, to send a message that suggests positivity around what's going on with Burisma. And within exact proximity of that request, then there's a thank you email to Hunter Biden for setting up a meeting with Hunter Biden's father, Joe Biden. The story gets a little crazier, if you can imagine it, going forward. We've got two more parts to play. And it's really the meat of it. And so you're going to want to stick around because we're going to play that as soon as we return here. The summation of Tucker's report last night, which was happening while, like I said, George Stephanopoulos was rubbing Joe Biden's shoulders, making him comfortable, getting him something to put his feet up, hot towel. And Savannah Guthrie was in a West Side Story-like fight with Donald Trump. But that one woman said, "You got a nice smile, sir." And he was like, he actually, it's the first time I think I've ever seen him look remotely uncomfortable. And it was amazing. He does have a nice smile. He is a handsome dude when he smiles. And 2016, Mayish, 2016, Annie would smack me for saying that. I don't know. There's something about a man with a little bit of authority behind him that makes it look like he's got it together. Right, Katie?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Should we start listing names?
No,
we won't. We might do that when we come back. We might play the rest of the Tucker interview. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
The economy was booming. Business was thriving. But then the greatest health and economic crisis of our generation shook our country. Entrepreneurs asked, how will my business and employees survive? Insperity was built for times like this. Driven by our mission to help businesses succeed so communities prosper, we were there to help them navigate their way and ultimately rise above. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Have you looked at cajonesinc.com? I don't care if you're not looking to build a house. Have you seen the homes that they are building for people all over the Metro East? They are so beautiful. And when you go to cajonesinc.com, you get to look at them. You get to see the pricing for them. And right now is a great time to get out there, sell your home, and build your dream home with C.A. Jones Inc. 618-777-6080. That's 618-777-6080. Call them and get the conversation started today. If you want to know more about their Easy Buy program, they've set it up so that when you go through this process, because building a home can be stressful, but it's super exciting. And they try to take all of those extra stressors out to make it a nice, smooth process that you're going to be happy with. You're going to want to recommend C.A. Jones to other people throughout the course of the process. C.A. Jones Easy Buy program has no 20% down and no interest payments while your home is being built. Call or text 618-777-6080. That's 618-777-6080. Online at cajonesinc.com.
Every day, Ameren works to deliver reliable energy throughout the region to on-the-go families, new parents, in-the-know grandparents, busy students, night owls, weekend warriors, and more. But did you know we also have options to help manage and track your energy, like paperless billing, outage notifications, pick a due date, and so much more. So no matter who you are or how you use your energy, there's an option that's right for you. Learn more at ameren.com/options.
Celebrating 20 years of Halloween shows with the DGS and Slurp gelatin shots.
Did you feel it when it happened? It's, yeah. Well, but not like I'm getting scraped, but just touched and I'm sweaty and it's
And then Tom pulled his sleeve up and it was ripped up. Now, Tom could not have done this to himself, nor could anyone else do it, I think, with fingernails.
Right.
These were individual lines, like a needle or something.
These were not done by anything human.
They were very deep.
Very deep. Very deep. Because there was blood on top. There wasn't blood dripping.
Sponsored by Slurp Gelatin Shots. A better new twist on an old favorite. Slurp is the #1 selling gelatin shot in America. Great flavors, great taste, and very affordable. About $1 per shot. Slurp Gelatin Shots. Everything that can be shaken will be shaken. It's Decision 2020. The choice is yours. 97.1 FM Talk. The place for ideas.
TGIF, folks. What a vibe. What is this song? Dancing in the Moonlight? Is this the EDM version?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Are they gonna get to it? No, because you're supposed to be grooving and dancing at some. What was this EDM dance fest that if you would have gone to would have probably been the super spreader event of the year?
It was in New Orleans.
You say that Buku and everyone's going, oh, Buku.
Oh, Buku. Yeah, we just forgot. We forgot people did EDM.
It was in New Orleans, which was like the second largest hotspot whenever coronavirus came.
Katie messages me and she's like, got all these emojis with the big eyes, like a link was like Louisiana breaks out with coronavirus. And this is where she was supposed to go be with what? 20,000 sweaty people dancing to EDM.
And before it was in Louisiana, it was in New York, and before that, it was in Wuhan.
Yeah, seriously.
Those T-shirts from the tour are really, really a hot commodity. Where it's like EDM concert, Wuhan, China.
I'm still getting emails from the festival being like, "So, are you coming next year? Because I think we're gonna do this thing." I'm like,
"Are you?"
No. I'm like, pass. I don't think that's probably the best bet.
I'm going to give a shout out here to Carlo, who just messaged us on our YouTube page. He was watching last night during the YouTube live that I did while I watched the town halls. That was complicated schizophrenic kind of stuff to do. Like, what do I do? All I could focus on was what I'm missing, which to have that level of FOMO as a political nerd is kind of a bizarre situation. And if you're not familiar with what the kids are saying these days, FOMO is fear of missing out. So if you've never heard that before, but you're going to be around your kids or grandkids, just like slip it into we should just work on we have a millennial vocabulary segment that we used to do. Mm-hmm. We should just tell our folks like the cool words that the kids are saying. And then I want to see you I want to know your stories of just casually saying it like this is how mom and dad talk now.
This is who we are.
I've never heard FOMO.
Yeah, you can't act like it's your new hip word to say. You just gotta deliver it when your kids come home for Thanksgiving like it's just how you talk.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Ryan, you have never heard FOMO?
I've never heard of FOMO, but I'm super into YOLO.
YOLO's come and gone.
Educating the old people.
Yeah.
What's this thing called FOMO?
I'm over 50. That's Katie's over 51.
And whenever Katie talks like that, if you're not watching us on the YouTube page, whenever Katie talks like that, she bops her shoulders with each syllable when she's talking like whatever. Is that an old person? Is that a sassy person?
That's a Joe Biden dance.
Oh, so it's an old person. Gotcha.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Everybody over 50 talks like that and is Joe Biden.
False. It's funny to me that like the age that Joe Biden appears is very different than the age that he is. I know people who are like vibrantly youthful in their 80s, and even my grandma at 95. I mean, she lived by herself every day of her life in an independent capacity. And then one day God said, time to come home. And she went home to be with Jesus and with my grandpa. And I look back on that and I think about what a blessing that is to just one day it's time. And then you go home to Jesus. But I mean, at 95 years old, this woman was bopping around completely with her wits. So it's I hate making old jokes about it because the age isn't what indicates the capacity. And also Joe Biden's probably a fantastic grandpa and probably still very capable of maybe leading with all of his life experience that he's had, leading a college class at university or something. But like, you don't give him the keys to the entire country, especially if you feel like maybe he's taken advantage of that in the past. We've been walking through what Tucker reported last night, and there's two more parts here that I'm going to play for you. And this is where it starts to get a little interesting.
You can see why Facebook and Twitter don't want to allow you to read it. If Joe Biden met with Burisma executives at the request of his son for the profit of his own family, it becomes very clear that Joe Biden's previous denials were lies. Just last year, Joe Biden was telling us he had no idea what his son was doing at Burisma.
You were the vice president running point on Ukraine. The average Joe hears that and says, that sounds fishy. What's your understanding of what your son was doing for an extraordinary amount of money?
I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board. I found out he was on the board after he was on the board, and that was it. And there's nobody.
Well, you had a lot of time. Isn't this something you want to get to the bottom of?
No, because I trust my son.
But that doesn't pass the smell test. Like when you're vice president, isn't there a higher standard? Don't you need to know what's happening with your family? Don't you need to put down some guardrails?
Unless there was something that was, there was something on its face that was wrong. There's nothing on its face that was wrong.
Nothing on its face that was wrong. That was before we saw these emails. You'll remember that back in 2018, Joe Biden explained that he got the top prosecutor in Ukraine fired. That prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, said he was planning to investigate Burisma when he was stripped of his job. Here's how Joe Biden explained/bragged about how he canned Viktor Shokin.
I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked at it, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Yeah, we can leave that if the vice president says that, right? So we're leading up to here. Burisma hires Hunter. Hunter has no experience whatsoever to be working in some massive energy company. He doesn't know anything about it, but Hunter Biden gets hired at Burisma. Then Hunter Biden is asked to use his influence, and Hunter Biden is told that they need a show of goodwill surrounded by people of influence to make sure that some of the people looking into Burisma, that it starts to look a little bit better. Because when you're surrounded by people of high profile and influence, of course, you look better. Katie, what are you doing? I thought that was going to be Mariah Carey.
Call.
I thought it was going to be Mariah Carey. I don't want to laugh for Christmas. And I'm like, if you play the first Christmas song on the show and I haven't sanctioned it, then everything is now up for grabs. So Hunter Biden is hired by Burisma. Hunter Biden is asked to include his influence to make Burisma look better because they're being investigated by this prosecutor in Ukraine. And Hunter Biden is asked to set up a meeting with these people of influence. We have an email that says, thank you for setting us up so that we could meet your dad. And then we have this conversation, which we've been hearing for quite some time. The son of a bee, the prosecutor, got fired. Joe Biden's own words there are that he said there's no $1 billion if you don't fire this prosecutor. And the timeline is super suspicious. Here's the last part of last night's report.
Why is the vice president of the United States firing prosecutors in Ukraine? Pause for a moment and ask yourself that. That's bizarre behavior. It doesn't help the United States in any way. Why was he doing that? At the time, Biden's handlers denied there was anything wrong with this. They just said Shokin was corrupt and somehow the world was benefiting by Shokin getting fired. They didn't explain how he'd benefit from that. But of course, Joe Biden didn't do it for his son. He didn't know anything about Burisma. He didn't know what Hunter Biden was up to. No clue. Then last October, we showed you a photograph of Joe and Hunter Biden golfing with a board member at Burisma, Hunter Biden's business partner, a man called Devin Archer. The Biden campaign never explained that photograph. Our media, of course, never really followed up. Instead, just as they're now rushing to bury the New York Post story, CNN rushed into Joe Biden's defense.
The impeachment inquiry is centered on President Trump's attempts to get political dirt from Ukraine on Vice President Biden and his son Hunter. Mr. Vice President, President Trump has falsely accused your son of doing something wrong while serving on a company board in Ukraine. I want to point out there's no evidence of wrongdoing by either one of you.
Oh, thanks, Anderson.
A few months later, we got some sense why Anderson Cooper was so careful in the interview you just saw. In December, a voter in Iowa tried to ask Joe Biden about Burisma and his fitness for office. Joe Biden lost control of himself. He called the man fat and then challenged him to a push-up contest.
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that. And you want to check my shape on? Let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take
Yeah, that's right. You clapped for Joe Biden.
I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack. But look, here's the deal.
Here's the deal. What is the deal, actually? That's a question every American, no matter what your political views, has a right to an answer.
So true, Tucker. So true. What do you think, Ryan? I mean, when you walk through that whole thing and you see the connections, the specific connection, the first question you have about Burisma and Hunter Biden is, why Hunter Biden? And that question has been asked to Hunter Biden. And he's like, well, he basically said, I wouldn't have had a lot of things in my life if my last name wasn't Biden. And then you start seeing the requests that are being made of Hunter and the requests that were being fulfilled by Hunter in connection with Joe Biden. And then you see that there's $1 billion in loan guarantees from the United States that was withheld from Ukraine until Ukraine fired a prosecutor that was looking into the company that Hunter Biden worked for. Oh, I wonder why they hired Hunter Biden in the first place. Probably so that they could get a prosecutor who was looking into the goings on at Burisma fired so that Burisma could continue to do what they were wanting to do. There's definitely a circle here that you can connect.
Here's the problem with this for me. A lot of it is based on things that we already knew about Hunter Biden. It's going deeper, and so that's why the story is interesting. But I do think that we're walking a line here where technically nothing that Hunter Biden has done is criminal. And until we see for sure
selling influence of the vice president of the United States,
it's super corrupt. And Donald Trump was impeached for less. But I still don't know that we've crossed into criminal territory, except that clip you played yesterday of Rudy Giuliani reading those texts. That's why that dropped my jaw, is because that was implying that Joe Biden was also on the take financially. Then we definitely are into criminal territory.
Yeah, I think we are definitely wading into criminal territory for sure. Let's take a quick break. Katie, as that was Tucker was playing there, I was laughing, trying not to laugh on the microphone because my mom messaged me. She said, sign me up for the Educating the Old People program. And then she said, before you even said that, I Googled EDM.
We forgot to say what that was.
And then she sent me a picture text message that says, what is this? And it's a picture. And she said, and what is this? JX Balvin. And it's a picture of the McDonald's drive-thru. And it's their latest collaboration meal.
Oh, right.
I don't know who is it JX? I'm probably not even saying this right.
I don't
Mom,
know. It's a rapper.
If you're old, I've officially arrived. I don't know. I've seen ads for it, but the person is not relevant to me. But if anybody is interested in ordering it, it's a Big Mac, medium fries, and an Oreo McFlurry.
Sounds like a regular meal.
This is right after their Travis Scott meal. Is that right?
After you go, at what age of life do you start understanding less than half of what's going on around you? Because this pervasive, young culture driven by the teen and the early 20s age, like you've just like, I don't know what anybody is saying. And I really don't care. I guess we have Google now.
That's
Katie, what's EDM for the rest of the folks who are
electronic dance music,
which is kind of like this.
Yep.
And they take real music and they basically remix it, right?
Yep. Put a little beat on it.
Make it sound a little hipper and cooler. And the cool cats like Katie go dance in places.
It can't be original.
There is some original.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some original.
Who wants that? All right. A little EDM to take you into the break. Stick around when we come back. More reaction to this. Reading your comments as we are watching them come in here en masse on the Annie Fry YouTube page. Go join the chat there and tell us what you're thinking about this. We'll include it in the show. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating over 50 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hello, everybody. This is Sean Rimmerman, your host of We're Having a Senior Moment, every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk. Are you concerned about a loved one, someone who's not always as safe, as secure, and as independent as possible in whatever setting they call home? Give us a call at 314-965-9600. We'll be happy to help you and them to live their best lives possible. Remember, 314-965-9600.
Jill Shoup has been a politician for 20 years, and she's been for higher taxes a lot. 2001, Shoup backed a new federal gas tax. 2002, Shoup voted to increase property taxes without voter approval. 2003, Shoup supported another property tax increase, 21%, but this one rejected by voters. 2008, Shoup advocated for a local sales tax hike. 2009, Shoup voted to impose new taxes on health care. 2011, Shoup voted for higher taxes on small businesses. 2012, Shoup backed higher state income taxes and taxes on cars. 2013, Shoup wanted a higher income tax. 2014, Shoup backed higher taxes on families, higher taxes on businesses. 2015, Shoup voted for a gas tax increase. 2016, Shoup voted for another gas tax increase. 2018, Shoup voted for a higher business income tax and a higher personal income tax. And in 2020, Tax and Jill Shoup wants you to send her to Congress. Congressional Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.congressionalleadershipfund.org.
MySlim180.com is the website, and I know that you've been thinking about it, and I know you want to know more about what MySlim180 can do for you, which is why it's time to make that free consultation appointment. Go sit down with them and talk about how they can help you achieve your health goals. Losing weight has never been easier than it is with MySlim180. And I got to tell you, I've done it myself, lost over 40 pounds with their rapid HCG weight loss program. They also have a traditional program and a new quick start lipolean program. All Slim180 centers are following strict guidelines to make sure that you are safe the whole time that you were there. And if you are uncomfortable going in and you are trying to stay, home because of the whole COVID situation, then they have remote conferences that they can have with you. You can do curbside drop off or delivery with their products as well to get you right on your way to losing 10 pounds, 50 pounds, hundreds of pounds. Take a chance today. Risk it on yourself and go to Slim180 and get that process started. You won't regret this decision. You might regret not going. MySlim180.com is the website. 888-754-6111. 888-754-6111.
Mark Cox here. Don't miss the Red, White, and Back the Blue Freedom Rally this Saturday at the St. Charles Family Arena. It starts at 9 a.m. Saturday with the Freedom Parade. After the parade, the Red, White, and Back the Blue Rally outside the Family Arena, plus a great lineup of speakers, including Governor Mike Parson, Stacey Washington, Ann Dorn, Mark McCloskey, and Paul Berry. That's this Saturday, October 17th at the St. Charles Family Arena. For more information, go to MissouriFreedomTour.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet.com. So it's crazy time at ThrottleNet. They are IT geniuses, but they are a little bit nutty. Right now, they will pay you $250 for a conversation about your IT support because they value your time during the crazy pandemic. They'll give you the first 30 days for free, no charge for all of their services. And then they'll pay you another $1,000 if you decide to leave in the first 30 days for your trouble. They don't anticipate that you're going to leave, but if you do, they'll shake your hand, they'll put you back where you were, and they'll write you a check for $1,000. It is completely no risk, and they reward you for your time and for your effort. They are the best IT shop in the city, named number 1 5 years straight. They are good guys. Like I said, they are geniuses at protecting you, but they can communicate. They don't stare at their shoes. They look you in the eye, and they tell you what you need to know. ThrottleNet.com/971.
It's Decision 2020. And radio.com has you covered. Download the app for the very best discussion on your favorite programs on 97.1 FM Talk.
Remember the words you told me, love me till the day I die. Surrender my everything, cause you made me believe you're mine. Yeah, you used to call me baby, now you're calling me by name. Takes one to know one, yeah, you beat me at my own damn game. You're pushing, I'm pulling away from you. I give and you take, young blood.
So Katie just sent me this article talking about how Sean Diddy Combs, speaking of being relevant based on different generations, Sean Diddy Combs is launching his own political party. It's called the Our Black Party, promises to be inclusive of both sides of the political aisle. Can you be white and be in this group? Does it say that?
I don't think
The
you
title
can.
would suggest no, but
Black-centric political party, so I don't think so.
Puff Daddy tweeted, that's not his name anymore. Diddy tweeted yesterday evening, white men like Trump need to be banished. And he also said the mission is to create a platform to help advance a political agenda that addresses the needs of Black people. So going forward, we aren't in the same position we are in today. Visit ourblackparty.org for more information. I have read through. Ice Cube is another rapper who was a part of NWA. If you're not familiar with, I don't know, there's probably more people in our audience that are familiar with NWA. But Ice Cube has put together this contract with Black America. I would love to get him on the show to talk about what he's trying to accomplish there. I read through the whole contract with Black America. Have you guys seen this yet?
I've seen the story. I haven't seen the contract.
Mm-hmm. So I read through the whole thing last night to see what he was asking for, because Ice Cube, who wrote a song, I think about killing Donald Trump, maybe in the last few years, like maybe 2017, he puts together this contract with Black America, and it's asking for specific things. And it's specifically to close a whole bunch of different things that are going to help close the wage gap between white America and Black America. That's the point of what Ice Cube is trying to do. And he took the contract with Black America to the Democrats, and he took it to the Republicans. The Republicans sat down with him and used part of the things that he has in the contract with Black America in their Platinum Plan, which they announced in Atlanta a few weeks ago. I think Chris Arps was supposed to attend that. I think he was part of that announcement. I don't know if he ended up actually attending, but he was there when it happened. So the Platinum Plan is the president's administration's plan to invest in Black America. And he's already done that. And he did such a great job last night of pushing back on Savannah Guthrie's mean girl question about why denounce white supremacy once and for all. That's not what she said, but she might as well have. And he did what he should have done the first time. He should have talked about his accomplishments the first time regarding what he's done for Black America.
You were asked point blank to denounce white supremacy. In the moment, you didn't. You asked some follow-up questions. Who specifically? A couple of days later, on a different show, you denounced white supremacy.
No, you
My
always do
question
this.
to you is,
you've done this to
why
me and
does
everybody.
it seem like
I denounce white supremacy? Okay,
You did
I've
2 days
denounced
later.
white supremacy for years, but you always do it. You always start off with a question. You didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa. I watched him on the same basic show with Lester Holt, and he was asking questions like Biden was a child.
Well, so this is a little bit of a dodge.
Are you listening? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Do you feel, it feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you wait a
Hesitant. Here we
beat.
go again. Every time, in fact, when people came, I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy. Okay. And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't know what
While
they're
we're
doing.
denouncing.
Well, he went on to say right after that, and we don't have that part in the clip, but he went on to talk about what he has done. He talked about Tim Scott, what Tim Scott has led us through over the course of last night's town hall about the reform bill that Tim Scott put together that absolutely should have been signed. He went and talked about opportunity zones. He talked about everything that he's been doing to invest in Black America. And I think he said last night, I've done more for Black America than any president has done in the past, or something to that effect. He has accomplishments. He has what the kids call receipts that suggest that I have done things and I can prove it. And he said it last night to Savannah Guthrie, who, of course, wasn't accepting that whole process. So going back to Ice Cube puts together this contract with Black America. And I know that many of you, the majority of you listening, are Trump supporters, or you're conservatives, or you're Republicans. You're going to read the contract with Black America, and some things are going to make you go, we're not doing that. There are other things in there that I think we should be doing that yesterday. The only way you can make those decisions on something like that is if you sit down and you read it, right? And if you sit down and you consider it. You can consider the entirety of something and accept none of it, but you can't in an intellectual way accept none of it without looking at what's actually in it, right? I mean, ask Nancy Pelosi that. We have to pass a bill to see what's in it. Good grief. So Ice Cube takes the contract with Black America to both political parties, and the Trump administration says, let's sit down and talk about this. The Trump administration used points from Ice Cube's contract with Black America and put it in the Platinum Plan. They adjusted the direction they were going because Ice Cube sat down with them and they talked about it. And again, I think it is so incredibly important to understand that there are things in the contract with Black America that are potentially, in my opinion, un-American because they don't, it's just not the way that America goes about capitalist society. But if there is a wage gap, if there is an opportunity gap, which is what I would like to talk about, not a number in a bank account. Because you can give me $1,000, you can give Katie $1,000, you can give Ryan $1,000. We all have different obligations in our lives, and we can spend those $1,000 on anything we want to. We're going to spend it differently. And once that money becomes ours, if you're just handing a check to us and we can do whatever we want with it, then you don't really get to say, as the giver, what they're going to do with it. If you give it as an opportunity for tax credits, incentives for people, for minority-owned businesses to build up in a place that maybe could use business growth, like opportunity zones. Invest in these communities to help people get that start. That's going to put them in a position to create something that is then going to be able to hire new people who are going to come from these communities as well. That is an investment. That's not a handout. It's a big difference. Ice Cube goes to the Republican Party. They sit down and they talk to him. They take some of the things that he said and they change their plan right away. You know what the Democrats said to him? Come back after the election. The Democrats told Ice Cube, we will talk about this after the election. What more, folks, do you need to know? One side is listening. One side says, literally, verbatim, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. They don't want to hear anything from you. They don't want to know what you think about things. They don't want to hear your demands. They don't want to know why you think that the system the way it is set up right now with Democrats. Ask LBJ, who after John F. Kennedy was shot and LBJ absorbed the civil rights movement that JFK was leading, said that they'd have black people voting Democrat for decades after this. They're taking it for granted, folks. And there's a side that's willing to listen. Does that mean do I want the Trump administration to sit down and do whatever Ice Cube says, lip service, so that we can get 30% of the black vote instead of 8% of the black vote? No. But if I'm a person of color who feels as though there is an opportunity gap for black Americans, I want to know that somebody's willing to listen. The Democrats aren't. And it's really that simple. And if you go to Ice Cube's Twitter page, I encourage you to do this. Katie and Ryan, maybe we can put together a blog post where we embed the top video that he has pinned. Because it's like an 8-minute video. I watched the whole thing. Diddy here, launching his own political party. I don't think that the Republican Party is losing a lot of votes. When Ice Cube is saying, like he's not throwing his support behind Joe Biden. I don't know that they're flocking to Donald Trump to vote for him. I don't know that Diddy launching his own party is going to take away, 2% of the 8% of the black vote that Trump got last time. But if I'm a Democrat, if I'm running a Democrat campaign right now, and Ice Cube is out there saying, hey, the Trump administration sat down with me and the Democrats told me to come back afterwards, I'm pissed off.
So a fan of Ice Cube said, my hip hop hero Ice Cube is working with the dark side. I haven't felt this low since Kobe passed. Heartbreaking. Cube, I'm not sure if you understand how much we value your voice. And when we see you jumping the shark, it kills us, especially in 2020. Ice Cube replied back, every side is the dark side for us here in America. They're all the same until something changes for us. They all lie and they all cheat, but we can't afford to not negotiate with whoever is in power, or our condition in this country will never change. Justice is bipartisan. And I hope the people that refuse to go see Trump in the White House when they win something big in sports take note of this.
Yes.
Because this is how you change something. It's not you know, grandstanding saying, oh, I'm making a stand because I'm not going to go see Trump. No, it's you saying this is a person I don't like and I'm going to go negotiate for what I want.
Yeah. Folks, don't listen to what Ice Cube is doing and saying and hear that there's going to be some massive red pilling of every Black American who's going to now understand that Donald Trump is the Lord of all. That's not what we're talking about here. But there is a crack in the understanding of what a political party is supposed to do for you. And if you are a Black American and you think that there is an opportunity gap, and the Democrat Party said you come back after the election, the Democrat Party expects something from you, and they expect your vote before they're willing to help. And Ice Cube is proof of that. I've got a really important question to ask you about this when we come back. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Window World. And let me just take a moment to say thank you to Window World. I'm not sure how many of the 20 years they've been with me, but most of them. They are great people, just great guys, and have been very good to me and taking care of thousands of DGS listeners. So Window World, thank you for the bigger part of 20 years with the DGS. What I love about Window World is the simplicity. Honestly, it's just they make it so easy. There are other replacement window companies in town. We're one of only 2 in the nation that have a good housekeeping seal of approval. Any award that you can win within our industry, we have won. The prices are very modest, very affordable. We give you a lifetime warranty and a lifetime guarantee because we know that our windows are built like a tank. You can depend on saving about 1/3 off your heating and cooling bills 12 months out of the year. Mention me for 18 months, same as cash, 314-993-1800 or windowworld.com, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the bagel loan. Yesterday, I think I told you that you need to call Stewie or text Stewie and tell him that Annie bullied you into calling and asking about a bagel loan. And that actually made me chuckle a little bit thinking about it, because it's obvious that you have nothing to lose when you reach out to Stewie at 314-324-4440. Call him, text him, and say, Annie keeps talking about this, and I want to check this out so that every time I hear her say this, I don't have that nagging part in the back of my head saying, gosh, I don't know if this would really help me. I don't know if I really believe it. Well, first of all, trust me, I've done it myself, and there aren't fees. It doesn't cost you anything to do that refinance. It's going to cost you a lot if you don't, because rates are stupid low right now. And if you miss out on this opportunity to do a refinance on your home, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that, you're just leaving your money on the table. Don't do that. 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. Ask him about the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Our Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer still believes in our America, not a radical shift to failed socialism. Blaine knows the path to a faster economic recovery and higher wages is what worked for our families before the shutdowns.
Less regulations, lower taxes, and you saw the economy rebound at historic pace. We wound up with 1.2 million more jobs than we had people to fill them.
And Blaine Luetkemeyer knows the real China.
They've proven that they can't be trusted on trade. Militarily, I really don't think that we need to trust them on anything anymore.
And Blaine wants to bring those China supply lines back home to create high-paying jobs here.
There's an opportunity there for a lot of the small businesses in my district to take on additional manufacturing loads. There's an opportunity to bring back more jobs.
And Blaine Luetkemeyer stands with us on our side for law and order, for good-paying jobs, and for America's future.
I'm Blaine Luetkemeyer, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Blaine for Congress.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
Lisa Brady, Fox News. A judge says that case will proceed. Fox's Jeff Manasso has this live.
Lisa, preliminary hearings this week that featured testimony from the FBI led a federal judge to rule that there is sufficient evidence to move the case against 5 men to trial. A sixth faces extradition in alleged plot to overthrow the government and kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer prior to Election Day. According to the FBI, the men, apparently part of an anti-government group, were angry in part over Whitmer's strict coronavirus orders. 8 other men face state charges in connection to the case. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. A teacher is stabbed to death on a French street, by some accounts decapitated, and a terrorism probe has now been opened. The attack happened today outside Paris, and the killer was shot and killed by police. Investigators say the teacher had opened a discussion with students about caricatures of Islam's Prophet Muhammad. Both candidates ramping up campaign stops in the home stretch of the 2020 campaign. President Trump holding 3 events today, beginning with seniors in Fort Myers, Florida.
Ocala, Florida, for a rally, and on to Macon, Georgia. Well, he'll finish out the day with a rally. Joe Biden in Michigan. He's got a health care event. He'll do a virtual event with African-American faith leaders, and then an in-person early voting event tonight. Both campaigns very busy.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. They still have one presidential debate scheduled for next Thursday after the second debate was canceled and replaced with dueling town hall events last night. Twitter is now being accused of indirectly contributing to the Biden campaign by restricting a news story about possible links between Joe Biden and his son's business dealings. The Republican National Committee filing a complaint with the Federal Elections Commission. America is listening to Fox News.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening, who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, we're here to help make Medicare easier too. Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans, including United Healthcare, which can mean copays as low as $0 for you. Talk to a Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, we make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Walgreens accepts other plans.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine and deep blue skies across St. Louis on this Friday afternoon. Temperature still a little bit on the cool side, 62 for the high. Tonight, clear skies and cold, 50s for evening plans, 39-40 for the overnight low. The weekend, Saturday, sunny, breezy, 69. Southerly wind is back. Sunday, more clouds and sunshine, a couple of afternoon showers possible in the 60s, but falling into the 50s Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
So do you suffer from neuropathy? Are you somebody who experiences pain, numbness, burning feelings, sock-like paresthesia on the foot, legs, and hands. This is such a frustrating and just almost an angering thing to experience when it becomes a chronic situation. And there's help out there for you. Many times, symptoms can affect sleep and cause major sleep problems. Are you laying in bed and are you feeling the creepy crawlies on your legs? So frustrating, but I want to tell you that there's help out there for you. If it's allowed to progress, the damage can be irreparable and it can affect how you are able to walk. So let's talk about what we can do here. Dr. Ryan Cleland at Infinite Wellness Center, online at infinitewc.com. That's infinitewc.com, has a solution for you. The main treatment for this disorder currently is strong anti-seizure medications like gabapentin, Lyrica. Are you familiar with those? These drugs, at best, only cover up that problem and the symptoms while the nerve damage gets worse and worse. Patients can see results, positive changes in less than a week with Dr. Ryan Cleland, in less than a week with infinitewc.com. Go to Infinite Wellness right now and see what they can do for you. Don't put this off because it's going to continue to get worse. Your medication is going to cover up these symptoms. You can get real help for your neuropathy with Dr. Ryan Cleland at Infinite Wellness. Go online to infinitewc.com and get started today.
At Spire, we know the value that natural gas brings to the communities we serve. From a hot shower after a long day to the warmth and comfort of a cozy home. And we know that in any year, some of us struggle to make ends meet. But this year isn't just any year. If you're struggling to pay your natural gas bill, we're here to help. Our dedicated team of community support specialists is ready to help identify the assistance program that's right for you. To learn more, call us or visit us online at spireenergy.com/assistance.
I started gymnastics when I was 5. I had my first knee surgery when I was 10. I had 2 more knee surgeries when I was 13. And I had another when I was 14. I had lost hope. Then I had surgery at Mizzou Biojoint Center.
To see if MU Healthcare's Mizzou Biojoint Center is right for you, visit biojoint.com.
You can listen to 97.1 FM Talk online anytime. Just go to 971talk.com, where you can listen live and even rewind. Or download the app for your phone at radio.com. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
The FDA and HHS to make the antibody treatment that I received. It's called Regeneron. Plus, also, it's incredible. And you know what they can do today is incredible. And they felt very confident even 6 months ago when they started. Think of it, we got this all done in a very short period of time, and now we're going for emergency use because we're going to make it available to everyone who needs it for free. Anybody in the country.
The president speaking right now with the Protecting America's Seniors event at Fort Myers, Florida, talking about Regeneron, talking about the vaccine. And you got to know that Regeneron therapeutic, but the vaccine that seems to be rapidly working in place, that we could potentially have it by the end of the year if you listen to what the president says, but soon enough will be a huge game changer as to how our country can move forward. It's a really, really big point. While COVID is one of the main concerns that people have right now in the country, it's a huge determination of how people are going to feel about voting in November, on November 3rd, if they're not voting already. Who do you feel can handle a pandemic and the rebuilding of an economy at the same time? To me, that's an easy choice. Curious what Deroy Murdock thinks. Fox News contributor on with us right now. Deroy, always great to have you back on a Friday instead of a Wednesday. Your thoughts last night on the comparison between these two town halls and the case that they continually try to make, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, as to why they should be handed the keys to this country moving forward in this crazy time we're living in.
Well, Annie, great to speak with you now on the cusp of the weekend, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
All can be thankful for that. The dueling town halls last night, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I guess disappointed again to see this situation where the same media that complained about President Trump interrupting Joe Biden at the debate a couple of weeks ago, and I think the president was more interrupted than he should have been. It was nothing but interruptions by Savannah Guthrie. I mean, the guy could not finish a sentence. And really what we need now is for voters to get as much solid information as they can so they can decide who ought to be the next president of the United States. And instead, every third word he tried to utter, she would jump in and bust in with something else as if she were on the ballot against him. So I thought that was rude, disrespectful, and ultimately foiled the effort, which is to get the president of the United States to tell us why he ought to be reelected. Conversely, with on ABC, you had George Stephanopoulos, former Clinton White House official, sitting down with Joe Biden and, of course, letting him talk as much as he wants and give long answers, and which is fine. There's no objection there. But the contrast between the two will show you very clearly if anybody needed any further proof of the tremendous bias and anti-Trump animus on the part of the media in this country.
Deroy, in a second potential Trump term, do you think the media will change at all? Do you think that they're sort of playing every ace they have right now in the attempt to make sure that he's not reelected, and then they'll have to go away, lick their wounds, and maybe change courses in a second term?
That's a good question. I suspect that if it's very close and he barely squeaks through, they will continue the drumbeat that this was Russia or China or the Freemasons or somebody. They'll pick somebody as the excuse for why Biden lost and Trump won. If he happens to win in a landslide and it's convincing and he runs away with this thing, which could happen, maybe at that point they'll be chased and they'll put their tails between their legs and just be quiet and stop the rancor. I mean, I don't think they're going to jump on the Trump train and be supportive, but some of the chaos and craziness and nonsense we've seen might abate a bit, and they might actually try doing something called reporting and objective journalism.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Imagine that. What a concept, right?
I wanted to ask you about this Joe Biden. Joe Biden got a question last night about how, people of color in this country can feel going forward, feeling safer, more secure, like they have the same kind of opportunities as white people do in this country. And Joe Biden's response, it jarred me. He goes, he answered it, and the first thing he said is, that's why I got into public service, is to fix these things. But if you got into public service 47 years ago, you're running for president 47 years later, and someone's saying, how are we going to fix this problem? And you tell me that 47 years ago, you got into government to fix this problem. I'm thinking that's about all I need to know right now. I mean, the stark contrast between these two candidates on what they're willing to do to sit and listen to the plight of people who feel as though there is an opportunity gap between white people and people of color right now. The Trump administration has shown that they're willing to listen and make modifications. And Joe Biden says 47 years ago, I got in to make a difference, and you should vote for me now for president. It's pretty amazing.
No, it is amazing when you look at it that way. I mean, the man has been in public life for almost half a century. And my question is, okay, then why don't you fix this? I mean, he was a senior senator for years. He could have a whole stream of pieces of legislation behind him, like the way that Fulbright did the Fulbright scholarship, or various people did various civil rights bills or whatever. I can't think of the Joe Biden Act for anything. I literally can't. And I'm not being unfair to him. I just can't think of anything that we know as the Biden Act. I mean, you've got McCain-Feingold, for example, or you've got Pell Grants, which is the college scholarship money named after Senator Claiborne Pell. Things like this. I can't think of anything that's got Biden's name on it. So he said 47 years to do something, hasn't done much. You'd think he'd have some better answer than that. Compare that lack of activity, lack of answers from Biden after all these years versus Donald J. Trump, who after 4 years has given us the opportunity zone measure, 8,700 opportunity zones, which brought in something like $75 billion in private capital to improve and create jobs and hope in primarily minority, low-income neighborhoods across the country. He's provided a steady stream of revenue for historically Black colleges and universities, and worked with them to set up corporate scholarship, or corporate apprenticeship programs, that sort of thing. The First Step Act, which is criminal justice reform, that's very positive. That's brought something like about 3,100 people who were predominantly minority, many Black folks who were locked up for nonviolent drug offenses. They've been allowed to leave prison and mass incarceration and go back to their communities and make something of themselves. A lot of them apparently are getting back to work and rejoining normal life, which is wonderful. These are concrete things the president has done. He's talked about something called the Platinum Plan, which is a very detailed proposal for increasing empowerment and opportunity in minority areas, particularly Black areas. Commitment of something like $500 billion, which would happen in the second term. You can debate the pros or cons, but there's a real plan there. And also it includes, one of the measures is to declare the KKK and Antifa as domestic terrorist organizations. Obama and Biden had 8 years to declare the KKK a domestic terrorist organization. And guess what? They didn't do it. So there are many instances where Senator Biden had an opportunity to do something about these issues you raised. Didn't do it in the Senate. He had 8 years in the White House to do something about these things and didn't do it. So why should we think he ought to be rewarded for his inactivity by giving him 4 years to do much of what he's done all along, which has been not very much of anything?
Deroy Murdock is on the phone with us, Fox News contributor. Deroy, you just listed some of the reasons and actual decisions that President Trump has made regarding racial issues. I think he touts, of course, the economic side of what he has done and what he will do going forward for people of color. What exactly is Joe Biden's platform for helping people of color? We know that he talks about the issue a lot, but I can't pin down what exactly he's saying he's going to do.
That's a good point. He mentioned last night something about redlining. He said he got into politics because of redlining, so maybe there'll be some activity on that if he happens to get elected. I know one area where I wish he would have something positive saying. He has actually terribly negative things to say, which is in the area of school choice. Joe Biden is hostile to school choice. He has said, I'm not a charter fan. He also said, if I'm president, charter schools are gone. He said that essentially at a meeting with some teachers unions, I believe. He's promised to shut down the DC voucher program, which provides private vouchers to, I think it's about 7,000 or 8,000 kids in Washington, D.C. 70% of them are Black, about 25% of them are Hispanic. I think the rest are Asian background, handful of white kids. And they're able to get out of some of the most disastrous government schools in the country and actually go somewhere where they can get educated. Rather than applaud this and think this is great, let's keep this going, Biden said full out, if he gets elected, he's going to shut the program down. And those poor Black and Hispanic kids, or kids of color, will be booted from these schools, and we'll have to largely go back to the terrible schools in the neighborhoods from whence they came. And that's not good for Blacks. That's not good for Hispanics. That's not good for America. And this is part of Joe Biden's agenda if he happens to get elected. I find that just appalling and disgusting. He should apologize for it and reverse course. But he did do that.
We're speaking with Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. There's news out now that Diddy has launched his own political party. It's called the Our Black Party. It promises to be inclusive to both sides of the political aisle. Diddy tweeted here. He said, we need to get Biden in and hold him accountable. Trump has taken things too far. But he also said, so I'm launching one of the boldest things I've ever launched. I'm launching a Black political party with some young Black elected officials and activists. It's called Our Black Party. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. He's zero. He has no love at all for Donald Trump. But the idea that I see Diddy doing this, I don't know if you're familiar with Ice Cube and his contract with Black America. We were talking about that in the first hour of the show here quite a bit. Apparently, Ice Cube sat down with the Trump administration, and the Trump administration listened to him and put some of his thoughts and plans into the Platinum Plan, which is the Trump administration's effort to try to invest in Black America and help close that opportunity gap. And the Democrats said, you can come back and talk to us after the election is over.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. I mean, like that's sick. That's all you really need to know.
That's all you need to know right there. Yeah. This is just another example of the Democrats taking Blacks for granted. Every 4 years they say, oh my God, the Klan's coming. It's the racist. Oh, you got to vote Democrat. And 90% of Blacks usually do. And as soon as the balloons have hit the ground and the confetti's on the floor, they go, all right, see ya. And they turn their backs and they're gone. And they don't do a damn thing. And we've seen this over and over and over. And unfortunately, too many Blacks fall for this routine. I think the numbers will be lower. I think fewer and fewer black voters are fooled by this abuse that we've gotten from the Democrats really since 1824, when the party was started. And it was the party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow, the party of segregation and all that. And then now it's the party that fights school choice and all this sort of thing. And I think people are increasingly cynical about this, and I think you'll see more people abandoning the Democrat Party. Some of them will just walk away. Some of them will start other parties, and some of them, I think, will support President Trump on November 3rd. But this is, again, typical. You'd think the Democrats would be smart enough to bring Ice Cube in and say, great, what are your ideas? Please go out and spread the gospel between now and November 3rd. They don't even have the brains to do that. Come back and talk to us after the election. I mean, that's just really, really, really poor electoral politics, in addition to being rather immoral and disgusting on top of that.
One last question before we let you go, and this is less about Trump and more about conservatism. The idea that the people are the focus of the conservative fiscal platform, that the people have control over the direction of this economy, the ability to try to succeed, and if they fail, to try again. And then the progressive way is to put all of your hope, trust, and freedom in the hands of the United States government so that they can just make sure that everything is equitable. Equitable does not mean good by any stretch of the imagination. Regardless of what color you are and regardless of what party you're for or candidate you're for, just the general platforms, cover up the names at the top of the ticket, cover up the parties at the top of the ticket. What does conservatism offer all people when it comes to opportunity?
I think, broadly speaking, what conservatism offers people is the opportunity to live up to their dreams and aspirations and have the freedom to do so. Some people need some help, some people don't, but generally letting people live their lives the way they want, as long as they don't harm or injure or threaten other people. The other side, the left, is much more the opposite than ever before, which is people say they want power. They don't want power. What they want is control. They want to tell us what to do all day long, 24/7, 365. So under Obama, you had Obamacare, where you couldn't just get a plan you wanted that you think would fit the needs of you and your loved ones. You had to get their plan, which, for example, every Obamacare plan has to have pediatric vision and pediatric dental, whether or not you have children. You could be totally childless. Maybe you don't even like kids, but your plan has to have pediatric dental and pediatric vision. I just found this sort of thing insane and crazy. You had, under Obama, we had the federal government controlling dishwashers, controlling ceiling fans. I've written about this. There actually were regulations on the creation of ice out of commercial ice making machines, and you actually had to produce ice if you ran a company, test the ice for hardness and compare the hardness of the ice against what was known as what's still known, I guess, as the federal ice hardness factor, and then report to the Department of Energy whether the ice coming out of your commercial ice making machine was equal to, harder than, or softer than the federal ice hardness factor. I'm not making up any of this. I've written about it. You can look it up. There's an actual formula for this that looks something out of a college physics textbook. And this is the kind of control the left has. They want to control every single solitary aspect of our lives. What they basically are totalitarians without the guard dogs and the barbed wire. That's the only thing missing. And other than that, the left wants to bark orders at you 24/7, 365. That's what's on the ballot in November. And if you don't like big government being bossed around by politicians, don't vote Democrat, because if you do, that's what you're going to get for at least the next 4 years and probably many more years thereafter.
Deroy Murdock, it's always a pleasure to have you on here. Please enjoy your weekend. If you are taking in as much information this week as I have been, you're going to need 2 weekends back to back here to just exhale for a little bit.
No doubt about that. Oh. That's absolutely right. Well, great to talk to you. Have a great weekend.
Yes, you as well, Deroy. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.
Pleasure to speak with you. We're going to take a quick break. And one of the questions, there is a question that is posed, or no, there's a demand, I should say, that is posed in the contract with Black America. And it is that they want a formal apology for slavery, like a governmental formal apology for the presence of slavery in this country. And I'm going to tell you what I think about that when we come back. Katie and Ryan, I'll be interested to hear what you have to say. And folks on our chat, go to YouTube, the Annie Fry YouTube page. Go give us a subscription there if you've got a click to spare, and comment and tell us what you think. Facebook.com/Annie Fry Show as well. Could we do a formal apology for slavery? Would it hurt? Let's talk about it when we come back.
Played it cool, but I knew you knew.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show. Decision 2020 is here at 971talk.com/election. Brought to you by Grasser Electric. Don't be left in the dark. Make the right call. Grasser Electric on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Thomas Helbig, founder of the Retirement Advisory Group. When I meet my clients for the first time, many of them have worked over 90,000 hours and have built up a life savings. Their question is, what can I do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? Not only do we set up a strategy to protect your retirement nest egg from market losses, but we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money. You've earned it, and it's my job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call me now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review, and you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. This book covers everything I teach in my live educational events. Call me now at 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
I'm starting to think that my greatest service that I've done for listeners of this show is connect people who are wanting to pay attention to the election and move through it with Stumpy's whiskey. There's just something about the two that seem to go together. And there are so many ways to drink this delicious Stumpy's Spirits Distillery whiskey. And I'm telling you what, the thing that I love about it the most, first of all, I'm obsessed with their logo. I know that has nothing to do with whiskey, and I know that has nothing to do with trying to get you to go to Schnucks or Total Wine and More or Friar Tuck's or Dirt Cheap or any other fine retail location to pick up your Stumpy's Spirits. But it's cool. And when you go to the distillery, you get to see all the cool merchandise. They're in Columbia, Illinois, and it just breeds homegrown. They are grain to glass whiskey, and it is so amazing. The process that they've gone through, the story behind this whiskey. If you are looking for a great tasting whiskey with a really great local story, you need to check out Stumpy'sSpirits.com. Stumpy's Spirits is extremely unique in that they are only one of the distillers in the United States that grows the grains, distills the grains, and bottles their spirits in their own family-owned farm. Stumpy's fine spirits are what is known in the wine industry as estate grown and bottled, or as Stumpy Spirits like to say, grain to glass. Go pick up yours this weekend. Enjoy it. Send me a picture when you do. StumpySpirits.com.
Find your perfect Mazda with significant savings from all three Bomarito Mazda locations. Plus, every new Mazda has the Bomarito nationwide warranty. 10 years, 200,000 miles. Right now, lease a 2020 Mazda CX-5 with zero down for $299 per month, or a 2020 Mazda CX-30 with zero down for $259 per month. That's at all three Bomarito Mazda locations.
If you are looking for a home warranty, please check out my friends at Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. You know, that maintenance part of their title is extremely important. Most home warranty companies out there want to deny your claim due to lack of maintenance. They claim you haven't been taking care of your equipment over time, so they don't have to help you out. Well, at Upkeep, they completely eliminate that worry by sending their own technicians out to your home 4 times a year to do the general maintenance for you. And if you ever need service done, they will either repair or replace your equipment, and that work is also being done by an Upkeep employee. It's not a third-party contractor trying to upsell you. Their plans are extremely affordable. You can even divide your payments up over the 12 months of the year. And when you use code DGS, you get $100 off your service. To check out all of their different home warranty plans, go to their website, upkeepstl.com. That's upkeepstl.com.
Mark Cox here. Guys, let Victory Men's Health help you regain your vitality by optimizing your hormones, vitamins, and sexual health. Victory Men's Health has the most cutting-edge technologies to treat ED. They have wave therapy. Listen, this is the biggest advancement for men with ED since the launch of Viagra. That's pretty incredible. They do the treatments in their office. Victory Men's Health offers wave therapy in both their Illinois and Missouri location. Check them out online today at victorymenshealth.com.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Air Comfort Service.
Feels like I'm standing in a timeless dream of light mists, of pale amber rose. Feels like I'm lost in a deep cloud of heavenly sand, touching, discovering you.
Leave this up because every time this song comes on, I always think if we play Trump over it, it might make him more likable. I don't know what he's going to say here,
How
but
important is it? Because he's going to put on radical left crazy judges that will destroy your lives.
briefly speaking, that's all you really need to know.
It's off
Trump or Biden, radical left judges that are going to destroy your lives. So we talked a little bit earlier today. I'm very fascinated by this Ice Cube story, and when I have a feeling, if you were listening to Deroy there, did you get the idea that he hadn't heard the Ice Cube story yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
The way he reacted. Ice Cube is a rapper. He was with NWA. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it. But he has written, he has a lot of anti-police stuff in his lyrics. He wrote a song, a rap song a few years ago, I think, that had something to do with arresting or killing Donald Trump or something. No love for Trump. He puts together this contract with Black America because Black America is frustrated right now. And, I say that as if that includes every Black American. There are people who are frustrated about the racial disparities that exist in our country that are of all colors. And just because you are a white person doesn't mean you can't see it. And just because you're a Black person doesn't mean you agree with everything that every Black person ever says. That's called diversity, folks. So Ice Cube, frustrated by the events taking place around George Floyd, was a tipping point for him. He puts together this contract with Black America. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to tell you that I read through this whole contract, and the contract is not like, I don't look at this and go, man, let's put this in play right now. I'm not there, but I wanted to read what it said. I wanted to know what they were proposing. Is there anything in here that could be used? Because when Ice Cube took this to the Trump administration, they sat down with him and they did implement parts of what they have in this. Ice Cube has in this. They implemented parts of it into their Platinum Plan, which is the effort they're making to help Black America, invest in Black America. Ice Cube took this to the Democrats and they said, come back after the election. Those are the words from Ice Cube. And that is mind-blowing to me. And when we talked with Deroy Murdock about that, when I just mentioned that to him, you could hear him almost like just, face palm, because it's like, how stupid can you be? What more do you need to know? Who's willing to listen now? And who's saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black, and you can talk to me after the election. I need to get from you what I need from you, and then we'll discuss this. So part of this contract with Black America here, this is the initial representation. This is the first point in here. And again, I want to talk about this because I think it's important that we are exposed to these things that are out there. I think being aware of what is out there is valuable. Whether you agree with all of it or you agree with none of it, you can't weigh in on it intellectually until you know what it is, right? I say this all the time. Be willing to sit down with people who believe completely different things than you do and learn why they believe what they believe. None of that has anything to do with you agreeing with it. But you'll understand more, and you might be able to communicate your side better when you know the perspective where somebody is coming from. So this is bill to guarantee Black opportunity and representation. This is part of this contract with Black America. Adopt a plan of, quote, neo-reconstruction, end quote, to redress past wrongs systematically imposed on Black Americans economically throughout many generations that has resulted in a, quote, wealth gap, end quote, where the average white family has 10 times the wealth of a Black family. In addition to some of the economic initiatives listed below, also formally apologize to Black Americans for past discrimination and slavery. Additionally, Black opportunity and representation will include affirmative action in schools, public and private, per student funding in states on an equal basis instead of paid by local property taxes, Black representation on all government civil rights bodies, civil rights classes mandatory in elementary schools, gerrymandering reform, additional polling places in Black and minority neighborhoods, Juneteenth to become a federal holiday. So this is what Ice Cube's solution is. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to make something called Contract with Black America, go big or go home. Ask for the moon. Who knows what you're going to get out of this, if anything, but you're not going to get anything if you don't ask. And when you ask the two parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, you're not going to get anything if they won't listen to you. One party sat down and listened to this. And the reason why I'm saying this, the reason why I want to talk about this story is because there are things in here that I'm looking at and I'm going, no, that's not what we need to do to rectify some of the issues that exist in this country. But there are some things here that I think we should talk about and we should consider and we should listen to these things, because when somebody sits down and puts this together and they've got something on their heart and in their head that they want to get out, why would I not give them my ear? If I trust that they're coming from a place that is not my perspective, why would I not listen? What does it cost me to listen? And one of the things that struck me in here was to formally apologize to Black Americans for past discrimination and slavery. At first, that was kind of jarring, shocking to me. Like, I didn't enslave anybody. I don't need to apologize for any of that. And I'm sure that's what a lot of folks are thinking too. And I'm sure that there are people who are Black Americans who are like, I've never been a slave in my life and I don't want to act as though I'm some sort of victim. Like, I didn't feel like I was a victim until I read this thing. And now I'm like, wow, I guess that I really get my power from my victimhood. I mean, that could be something that somebody on the other side says. And I say that because I see people saying that. I saw people saying that last night after reacting to some of the answers that Joe Biden got, is saying that, you know, Black people, the Black communities, this was the comment from a pundit last night after Joe Biden answered this question about, you know, what does an administration like yours do for the Black community going forward? I think the question was, if you lose, how are you going to keep fighting for it? And the pundit replied, like, the entire preface of that question is saying that Black people get their value from their victimhood, and that is a false start. You need to not start from that position. Let's not pretend that there isn't an enormous population of people in this country of all colors who feels as though there is some sort of gap. Here's one thing I would say to Ice Cube if he came on the show, and I've invited him to do that, and I don't expect it, but again, you got to ask. He talks about a wealth gap. I'm changing wealth gap from my perspective to an opportunity gap. I mean, Ryan and Katie, real quick here, do you feel like there might be an opportunity gap for different people in this country, and that skin color might have something to do with that opportunity gap?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, and what's it called? Geographical too. Yeah. I think both of those things play together. And
if there's an opportunity gap, I mean, isn't America the land of opportunity? Aren't we supposed to be the place where anybody gets a shot? Anybody gets the chance. And if that opportunity is not as accessible for some people as it is for others, providing people the opportunity for them to take it and run with it, they can pass up the opportunity, but that's on them, right? It's on them to choose the opportunity, just like it is for any other American that exists. You might have a silver spoon in your mouth when you're born. You're still going to have to choose which opportunities in life you're going to pursue. So I'm looking at this, and one of the things they ask for is a formal apology, in their words, to Black Americans for past discrimination and slavery. And my question to you is, and I want you to take a moment and put away every political expectation you have of yourself, every red uniform hanging in your closet. Put it away. Just walk away from it right now, because we're having a very private conversation, heart to heart right here. And I want to ask you something. If America made a formal apology for slavery, that's different than saying white people need to apologize to Black people. There's a difference between, you know, saying that America could apologize formally for the institution of slavery in our country, where we have some sort of weird twisted situation in the United States Senate where you have Chuck Schumer standing up and formally apologizing to Tim Scott for the wrongs of our past. If we made an American apology official, is that a symbol that even though you're sitting here and you're saying to yourself, I've never had a slave in my life, and I don't even know how many generations I'd have to go back to find out which of my ancestors had slaves, or I've never been a slave in my life, and I don't know how far I'd have to go back. Also, the understanding that Black people own slaves and that white people were slaves. It is not something that is so binary in our history. If you know your history, that both of those things are true. White and Black people have been slave owners. White and Black people have been slaves in America. This country was built and has success, economic success that other countries haven't achieved on the backs of slaves. That's historically, factually accurate. If we were to come to a point where we could formally and unanimously in this House and in this Senate with this president pass a formal apology for slavery, would that mean anything to anybody? And if you aren't willing to do that, why would you be willing? Why would you be unwilling to endeavor into that? I don't really think that there's any harm in doing that. And I think there could be actual good in it. Slavery was a terrible thing. I don't know who's arguing that. I don't know why anyone would be like, well, we don't really need to apologize for that. And saying that everybody else did it is like saying that Donald Trump's previous indiscretions aren't bad because Bill Clinton had an intern in the Oval Office. Like, actually, no, that just makes our country twice as bad. So you can't do the whataboutism because you just go in circles. It's dizzying. And everybody at the end of that process is really dizzy, laying on the floor, wondering which way is up. It doesn't do any good for anybody. And it couldn't be a Paul says on Facebook, how about the Democrats apologize for slavery? There are humongous political connotations to how slavery existed in our country. People can know the history about where it came from and who kept it and why they kept it. And even after the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, why it was that it still existed and which party did things to reinstitute slavery without doing it under the word slavery. We can talk about those things. If you formally apologize it as a country, it doesn't make any of that history untrue. It doesn't change anything that happened. It's just an acknowledgement that was wrong. And if that actually went somewhere for somebody, if that actually meant something, and it was done in the conjunction of a platinum plan that this president has already put together to invest in closing that opportunity gap, would it be the worst thing in the world? I don't know. It's just something that if somebody would have told me 3 years ago, I think the United States should formally apologize for slavery, I'd say, why? What good would come from that? Well, fast forward 3 years, October 16th, and we've never been more divided than we are right now. Is it a sign of goodwill, a show of goodwill that would potentially do something for this country going forward? And what if it happened from the guy? What if the person leading it was the one who every single opportunity that someone has to put a microphone in his face, they say, will you finally denounce white supremacy? I don't know. I'm looking I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what do you have to gain and what do you have to lose as a country? Not as a campaign, not as a political party, as a country. What do you have to gain and what do you have to lose? Ryan and Katie, I'm going to ask you what you think about that when we come back, and we'll continue to read these comments as they come through. I know it's not like what you probably expect from an Annie Fry Show conversation all the time. I'm just putting myself in this thought experiment where I'm saying, how do we make this better? How do we actually listen to one another? What can we give? Because there are things that I'm not willing to give ground on, folks. And I think you have an idea what some of those issues are. What can we give? How can we show grace? How can we ask for mercy and make a positive difference? Stick around. We'll talk about it when we come back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
of warm rains come rushing back to me.
Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Secret moments shared in the heat of the afternoon.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get Air Comfort Zone with 0% financing for 72 months and Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying equipment when you purchase and install a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
On November 3rd, St. Louis City will vote on Prop D, a key initiative to reform local elections to meet the standard set by 80% of cities nationwide. Under our current system, leaders are often elected with less than 35% of voters. Utilizing approval voting with the top two runoff, Prop D would ensure that winners have broad support from the community. To learn more, visit stlapproves.org. That's stlapproves.org. Paid for by STL Approves.
This November 3rd, be sure to finish your ballot and vote for your judges. Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org and learn about the nonpartisan judges up for retention this year. That's yourmissouriJudges.org. It's up to you to help make sure we have skilled, fair, and impartial judges. Know your judges and finish the ballot proudly. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org. Paid for by the Missouri Bar. Misha Epps, Executive Director.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at throttlenet.com. So it's crazy time at ThrottleNet. They are IT geniuses, but they are a little bit nutty. Right now, they will pay you $250 for a conversation about your IT support because they value your time during the crazy pandemic. They'll give you the first 30 days for free, no charge for all of their services. And then they'll pay you another $1,000 if you decide to leave in the first 30 days for your trouble. They don't anticipate that you're going to leave, but if you do, they'll shake your hand, they'll put you back where you were, and they'll write you a check for $1,000. It is completely no risk, and they reward you for your time and for your effort. They are the best IT shop in the city, named number 1 5 years straight. They are good guys. Like I said, they are geniuses at protecting you, but they can communicate. They don't stare at their shoes. They look you in the eye, and they tell you what you need to know. ThrottleNet.com/971.
All right, this Tuesday, October 20th at 10 a.m. is the remaining event that Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law are putting together to help you learn how to pay for long-term care. This is a very, very expensive need that if you don't plan ahead, you are going to potentially struggle with later in life. And that's why they are providing you this information so you can plan for it. Did you know that Medicare doesn't pay for a nursing home? And did you know that a semi-private bed in a nursing home costs more than $7,000 a month? That's insane. And that's also based on the national average. Do you have that kind of money to spend? Are you prepared for that kind of a cost? 70% of seniors at age 65 plus need some sort of long-term care in their lifetime, and the odds increase with age. You need to join Beck and Lennox for a virtual session on how government benefits may be able to help pay for assisted living or nursing home care for yourself or a loved one. It's Tuesday, October 20th at 10 a.m., and you can go on their website to find out more about this great event. Take advantage. It's free. Find them online at beckelderlaw.com.
With United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, there's so much to take advantage of, like free annual eye exams to help you see more clearly.
Wow.
Plus, get free designer frames and free prescription lenses. It's time to take advantage. To learn more, visit AdvantageWow.com.
Vision benefits vary by plan and are not available with health plans. Additional charges may apply for out-of-network services. Annual routine eye exam and $100 to $400 allowance for covered eyewear every 1 to 2 years.
Wow.
An official message from Medicare.
So, did you try it yet?
Comparing plans? Oh, yeah. They sure can change year to year.
Well, I found lower prescription costs and historically low plan premiums.
Ooh, how about those new insulin savings? Hundreds of plans, $35 a month.
That'll save you money.
Comparing plans really pays.
Mm-hmm.
Compare plans from home at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Tim Jones Show.
You know, the Dems, as they always love to do, they love to pick and choose things from the Catholic faith. They're all in on the social justice warrior stuff. The minute you bring up the right to life, well, then the Catholics are crazy.
Tim Jones, Sunday nights at 7
on 97.1 FM Talk.
Turn it off. This is a poorly timed song.
Did not know this was happening when I
Plug them in ahead of time and see what happens.
Sorry, y'all. That's on me.
Katie goes, dang it. But that's not what she said.
Did not.
We're just
see
gonna
it
bop right out of that one
coming.
as if it didn't even happen. My face is actually
Yep,
red right now.
I'm gonna switch the song right now. Doing that.
You can't tell because the camera is so white balanced on your white hat that you still look like you got
No,
your
my face is actually hot right now.
And forget that happened.
Pick a different song and play it. Let's redo that.
Okay, just 2
Let's
seconds.
Let's
here.
pretend as if that didn't happen.
Play some AC/DC.
No, don't play AC/DC. Katie knows what she's allowed to play and what she's not allowed to play. We got to be really tiptoey around copyright stuff. There you go. Yeah, it's so much better.
There you go, guys.
Live revolving bump music on the Andy Fry Show.
I wish we could dump the last 5 minutes. I feel like we should just
I'm
resume
getting rid of something.
So we're
But
talking.
if you dumped the last 5 minutes, we wouldn't have heard "Wow."
What?
The ad.
Okay,
That song,
Ryan.
It gets stuck in your head.
I don't even know what you're talking
Don't
about.
worry about it.
Well, we've officially train wrecked this segment. We only have 4 minutes left. You guys, we've been talking about Ice Cube's contract with Black America, and we, one of the things that they're requesting in here, and I said to Katie and Ryan on the break, there are things in here that are never going to happen. And this formal apology is something that is being requested for it's and here it's formally apologize to Black Americans for past discrimination and slavery. And I'm not for that. But I do think that if there was anything to be gained as a way to show good faith and goodwill, that the idea of America apologizing for slavery is a discussion worth having. I don't know how I feel about this, but I think this is one of those things that we often don't even talk about because you don't want to give up any ground on a larger issue. And when this is something that is extremely important to other people, if you actually are invested in caring about one another more than you care about your political opinions, then if this is important to somebody that you love, why wouldn't you listen to them? Now, I don't have any personal affinity for Ice Cube, but I do have an affinity for people in our community. I have people in my family who are, people of color. And if this is important to them, I'd want to listen. So we were talking about that formal apology and what it could mean going forward. Ryan, what's you're reading through this whole thing, and I don't want to talk about we're not talking about the contract with Black America as a whole, but just specifically this idea of the United States of America issuing some sort of formal apology for slavery.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was looking at the contract as a whole. I guess I keep coming back to the struggle that I have is identifying. Just like the phrase Black Lives Matter, when you go, man, I as a Christian can't agree with that more. But then when you bring in the current political environment to it and it starts to be intertwined with Marxism, then you go, well, that's not cool. That's not where my mind wants to go when you say the phrase. So there's a lot of that in here where I say, man, could we have a genuine, like, repentant forgiveness moment?
That's what I'm saying. You got to get rid of the Black Lives Matter thing. You got to get rid of the Marxism, and I've said here repeatedly that if you go through the rest of this contract with Black America, there are things in here that I think a lot of Black America would say, no, I don't want that. That is not necessary. And I know that a lot of other people wouldn't agree with it. But when it comes to, Ryan, I know you're Christian, Katie, you're Christian, I'm a Christian. This is naive probably on our part to even discuss this, but who cares? Nobody's listening to us to make policy right now, so we can talk about whatever we want. There's a hurt in our country, and there's an opportunity, like we pass what do you call those resolutions? We pass resolutions about things all the time.
Yeah,
it's just a bold statement. It's just something that you put out there that you're saying that this is important enough for us to stand up and speak on this and be on record. What if we did? What if there was an apology? What if there was shown remorse for slavery? Do we have remorse for slavery? Maybe that's a more important question. Katie, when you're listening to all of this, what's kind of your gut reaction to it?
Every time we have any discussion like this, I always look at it through the lens of one of my best friends telling me a story. And especially
if you listen and you sit down with one of your best friends who are Black, and they tell you their family lineage, and they say, this is how my family came to America, this is what they had to go through, whether it be slavery and then going through segregation. At the end of the story that they tell me, I would be like, your family is amazing, and through all the trials and tribulations, they persevered, and that's fantastic. But at the end of it, I would say, I am so sorry for what they had to go through. That's how I would end that conversation. I am so unbelievably sorry for what they went through. I don't have any issue with Americans saying, I am incredibly sorry, because we don't know. Like, let's take down our guard. Let's take down our pride and realize that yes, I didn't own slaves. Yes, one of my best friends wasn't a slave, but her family had to go through something, and that's part of her history. And so I do think something like that makes a difference. But more than an apology, I think we should have education. We should be educated. And some things on that Ice Cube recommended were having students learn about civil rights, having students learn about Juneteenth, having more polling places available in Black and minority communities. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think those are totally reasonable requests.
And also, I want to add too, that as somebody who understands personally a bit about what is taught in our classrooms, that civil rights are taught. You know, the understanding that civil rights, like, we should be talking about the civil rights movement in our classrooms. It is. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of classrooms out there right now that are teaching a little bit more, and potentially with a slant. I just got, somebody sent me a text message of a screenshot of a meeting from the principal at Edwardsville High School, who is telling parents that they need to stop sitting in on their children's Zoom meetings, class meetings, their remote meetings. I've seen this around the country. I haven't seen it locally. The email from Dr. Steve Stewart, who is the principal at Edwardsville High School. I mean, the education that's taking place in our classrooms, it does need to be paid attention to, especially when it comes to history, the way we teach history. I agree with that. I wonder, real quick, Katie, does your friend blame you for what happened to his ancestors?
No, not me personally, but probably.
Did he ask you for an apology for what happened?
Not at all. Mm-mm.
But you felt as though it was yours to offer.
Yep.
And he didn't require it from you.
Nope.
Did it mean something to him?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of my point, folks. Let's take a quick break.
Mark Cox here. Don't miss the Red, White, and Back the Blue Freedom Rally this Saturday at the St. Charles Family Arena. It starts at 9 a.m. Saturday with the Freedom Parade. After the parade, the Red, White, and Back the Blue Rally outside the Family Arena, plus a great lineup of speakers, including Governor Mike Parson, Stacey Washington, Ann Dorn, Mark McCloskey, and Paul Berry. That's this Saturday, October 17th at the St. Charles Family Arena. For more information, go to MissouriFreedomTour.com.
Del Walmsley here. The first thing you're going to have to learn is until you stop expecting the politicians or anyone else to change your life isn't going to change. The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
You could be on your way to a better lifestyle and experience the life of your dreams. Tune in to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Hey guys, Tony Colombo back with you for my chiropractor, Dr. Ed Ernstrom at Ernstrom Spinal Rehab. What I love about Dr. Ed is that it's all about feeling better. You've heard me talk about how much he's done for me when my lower back pain and my migraine headaches. And that's what you get from Dr. Ed. He's not trying to put you on some kind of program or talk to you about some other services that he offers. He wants to know what's wrong and he wants to get it fixed and he wants to stop it from happening again. Pain prevention is just as important as going in there when you are actually in pain. I've mentioned for me, it's lower back pain, particularly in the morning, trying to get out of bed, and migraine headaches. He's helped me with both of those things, but he's also helped me throughout the years with various other injuries in different parts of my body. Between the Aspen laser system, the rock tape products, the chiropractic treatments, he can take care of you and make you feel better. Learn more about Dr. Ed at I'mYourChiro.com.
Has this ever happened to you? I wasn't feeling great, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by really uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal information is being bought and sold. I got DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
Crisscrossing the battlegrounds. Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump holding rallies in 2 states today, beginning in Florida, while Joe Biden campaigns in Michigan, as coronavirus cases rise in more than 40 states. Some doctors in Wisconsin urging the president to cancel a rally there tomorrow. Trump campaign spokesman Hogan Gidley telling Fox News,
every single time we have an event, we hand out masks and we encourage people strongly to wear them. We give them hand sanitizer. We temperature screen every single person that comes in. That doesn't happen with all the looting and the rioting that goes on around this country. Democrats don't have a problem with that.
Just getting word that former President Barack Obama now plans to campaign for Joe Biden next week in Philadelphia. The Republican Party is accusing Twitter of violating campaign finance rules and FEC regulations with restrictions on a Biden-related news story. Fox's John Decker is live in Washington.
The Republican National Committee has filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission alleging that the censorship of a New York Post article about Hunter Biden's overseas business dealings amounts to an illegal corporate in-kind contribution to the Biden campaign. The RNC in its complaint said Twitter is a partisan actor run by partisan Democrats and is using its corporate resources to provide active support for Joe Biden's campaign in violation of federal law. The FEC lacks a quorum. As a result, the agency is unable to vote on any enforcement actions. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Twitter's already tweaking a policy on hacked material after this week's backlash, but Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee want to subpoena the CEO. As a standoff over more stimulus funding continues in Washington, the trillions already spent, along with shrinking revenues in the pandemic, getting much of the blame for the U.S. budget deficit hitting an all-time high in the 2020 fiscal year, topping $3 trillion. That's double the previous record, triple the previous year's deficit. America is listening to Fox News.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening,
Sure.
who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, the question is whether you have the right Medicare plan. And we're here to help make that easier too. Walgreens can save you money and peace of mind with copays as low as $0. Visit walgreens.com/Medicare today to see how. Walgreens. We make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All about sunshine and deep blue skies across St. Louis on this Friday afternoon. Temperature's still a little bit on the cool side, 62 for the high. Tonight, clear skies and cold, 50s for evening plans, 39-40 for the overnight low. The weekend, Saturday, sunny, breezy, 69. Southerly wind is back. Sunday, more clouds and sunshine, a couple of afternoon showers possible in the 60s, but falling into the 50s Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Are you thinking, I feel like the fall weather makes you want to be a little cozier in your house. Oh, it's when it's really good to have nice new carpet, isn't it? I think it is. You might be thinking of snow and wetness and that fall gloomy rain. Oh, it's beautiful, right? Where the crisp, chill weather is affecting the way that you are, trying to keep your floors clean in the house, because everybody's tracking stuff in. Now, I've got kids at home, so we're always tracking things in. There's two opportunities for you right now at Michael's Flooring Outlet. One of them is that Mohawk Smart Strand Forever Clean Aero Revwood Plus flooring. If you are looking for carpet, Michael's Flooring Outlet is the place to go. I adore carpet. I know it's not everybody's preference, but it certainly is mine. And Michael's Flooring Outlet is where you go to get the best value. Check them out this weekend. Also, they have a whole truckload of waterproof flooring that they ordered in bulk so that they can pass on that savings to you. So if you're looking for a great deal on waterproof flooring as we move and change the seasons here, check out Michael's Flooring Outlet, St. Charles County, West County, at Arding Prairie, online at michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
In difficult times, having options is good, especially when it comes to your kids' education. The Missouri Course Access Program, or MOCAP, provides online schooling for students whose parents are worried about sending them to classrooms during the pandemic. A good solution, but there's a catch. School districts must approve a student's enrollment in MOCAP, and there's no deadline for them to do it. So parents are often left hanging. They wait and wait. In recent years, some have had to sue the school districts to get a decision. Why should districts have a veto power at all? Why can't the state grant waivers so kids can get an online education? That was a problem last spring, and officials should have figured it out by now. Missouri students need to get back to learning, and they deserve every option to do it safely. The state should drop restrictions to online education now. Getting the kids back to school shouldn't only mean in school. This Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
97.1 FM Talk. Sean Hannity, Dave Glover, Annie Fry, Brian Kilmeade, Mark Cox. That's the lineup backward. Reminding you that you can rewind anytime at 971talk.com. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Great to be with you today. It's Friday, and every time I say that, it's like a little reminder to myself. I hope it's a happy reminder to you as well. I feel like I've lived a lifetime this week. I seriously have overdone it this week, and I need a nice weekend break. I realize that I have started watching the news between 7 and 7:30 every morning so far this week, not today. And I finished usually watching the news sometime after midnight. It's too much. I am on overload. And then, like I said, I've got all this information in my head and I'm too tired to talk about it. That's not how it's supposed to work. Listen to the president here talking about the
strongest economy in the world. We closed it up. We are coming around the corner. The vaccines are coming out soon, and our economy is strong. We are at a level with jobs like we've never been before. We've rebuilt our military. We've rebuilt our borders. We had no borders. We had no nothing.
So you've got the president talking about having the strongest economy in the world and how much of a ramp up we are on recovery from this COVID situation. So, you should be feeling that, right? You should be feeling the excitement of what is set ahead here, the future of our economy and how it's going to affect this country. Well, let's ask Adam Schuster about that. Senior Director of Budget and Tax Research at Illinois Policy and advocate for the Illinois taxpayer, illinoispolicy.org. Adam, great to have you back on the show. Always good to talk to you.
Great to talk to you as well, Annie.
So I want to ask you this, and the fair tax is something that American or Illinoisans specifically are facing. It's that constitutional amendment that they're going to find on their ballot. First, let's just talk straight up what it is. You've got a yes or a no vote on a constitutional amendment on your ballot. What is it going to say on your ballot? Give us kind of the layout here briefly about what Illinoisans are deciding on.
So at the very top of your ballot, you will see a paragraph that purports, at least, is supposed to explain what the constitutional amendment does. Unfortunately, that paragraph itself was written in biased ways that kind of, our politicians are trying to put their thumb on the scale and encourage people to vote yes on the amendment. So it kind of reads like an advertisement in favor of the amendment. But what people are actually voting on, to be clear, is whether or not to grant Springfield politicians permanent new taxing authority that would allow them to tax all of us in new and higher ways with a simple majority vote. And there would not be, if they elect to change their initial rate plan, there would not be a second vote from the people. So the only thing that voters are being asked is, do you want to remove all current restrictions on their taxing power and grant them additional taxing powers?
So if you hand the power over to J.B. Pritzker's legislature, the super majority of Democrats in the House, the super majority of Democrats in the Senate, and a governor that would sign basically anything that was sent to him, what needs to happen? So they've got some tax rates that they have proposed that are they automatically go in, and this is the numbers that you're seeing on all the dead trees in your mailbox right now, telling you why you should vote yes on the fair tax. They're saying 97% of the people are going to see their taxes stay the same or go down. How easy would it be if the yes vote on the fair tax passes? How easy would it be for them to say, nope, we're going to raise taxes on 97% of Illinoisans because COVID happened and we've rerun the numbers and it's worse than we expected? How simple will it be if the yes vote gets through for this legislature and governor to move the rates that are, the ones that just go automatically into effect? How easy would it be for them to change those?
It would be as easy as it is for them to do anything. So under the current law, under the flat tax protection, if our politicians want to raise taxes, they have to raise them on everybody. And that acts as a check on their power. It's a protection for taxpayers for the same reason that when you're watching a scary movie, you scream at the good guys to stick together. They're harder to pick off one by one. But if we give politicians this new taxing power, if we eliminate the flat tax protection, then with a simple majority vote, at any time with a simple majority vote, they could vote to raise taxes on the middle class. They could vote to impose new taxes on retirees. They could vote to allow local income taxes so that struggling cities could also double tax you at the local level. And in fact, the amendment removes the existing prohibition on double taxation. So it would be incredibly easy for them to raise taxes on the middle class. It would be incredibly easy for them to increase taxes on retirees. Currently, retirees do not pay any income tax in Illinois, but every state with a progressive income tax does tax some form of retirement income. And in half of the states with progressive income taxes, other than Illinois, so in half of the states that currently have this, the middle class pays the maximum tax rate. So when you look around the nation, you don't see that progressive tax powers lead to this, soak the rich type of strategy Governor Pritzker's promoting. Instead, what you see is that they hit their middle class very hard and they hit their retirees very hard, because that's where most of the taxable income is. So when you look at a state like Illinois dealing with the massive debt and budget problems we're dealing with, that's where the money is. That's where they're going to go next.
So we're speaking with Adam Schuster. You're the Senior Director of Budget and Tax Research. You make your living off of knowing this stuff inside and out. And you said something there that, according to the mail in my mailbox, is a bold-faced lie. You talked about new taxes that could come from a yes vote on the fair tax. You talked about extra retirement tax that could hit Illinoisans across the board. You've talked about other ways that they could double tax you if this yes vote goes through. My mail that Mike Madigan and the Democrats are spending millions of dollars on putting in my mailbox says that you're lying when you said that. Which is the truth?
So I think, this is a major problem. Unfortunately, the proponents of this plan, the proponents of the progressive income tax, are not being honest with the voters. They're not being honest in their mailing. They're trying to trick you and mislead you into thinking that the tax rates are what you're voting on, the idea that only the top 3% will pay more and 97% will pay the same or less. That's not what you're voting on. And so all of those advertisements are misdirection. They're misleading. You're voting, again, on eliminating the flat tax protection, eliminating the prohibition on double taxation, and granting new powers to Springfield politicians. I think the fact that they're denying that this is, opening the door to taxing retirement income is, particularly galling, because this is not an idea that originated with organizations like mine. People who are, in general, are in favor of more fiscal responsibility, lower taxes, better business climate. We're not the ones who've made this point. It's been proponents of the progressive tax who for years and years have been admitting that this is the first step to taxing retirement in Illinois, because it breaks down a key political barrier to taxing retirement income, which is eliminating the flat tax. Because right now, if they wanted to start taxing retirement income, they would have to tax everybody at once, and they would have to tax all of us at the same rate. Under a progressive tax system, they can pick and choose which retirees to hit first, and they can hike taxes little by little on smaller segments of the population so that they don't generate the same public backlash all at once. Or they could do something like start taxing retirement, but at a different rate than regular income for the same reason, so that the initial public opposition is lower. They kind of get their foot in the door, and then they jack up the rates later to raise rates. And this is something that people, Governor Pritzker's own revenue director introduced a bill to tax retirement income. The current treasurer of the state of Illinois was, back in June, as recently as June, said that, the progressive tax opens the door to taxing retirement income. So this is an argument that they've been making for years. Now they realize how unpopular it is. And about a month before the election, they started running away from their own argument.
So they're lying? Are they just stretching the truth? Or, are they trying to scare people? Because I'm seeing so many things that unequivocally say the fair tax does not allow them to tax your retirement, that's not true. And you're telling me that this is a step in the direction of allowing them to do that, correct?
Correct. So what they're using very careful language when they're trying to deny this. Like they'll say it has no direct effect, or that the rates they're implementing do not tax retirement income. Both of those things are true. The issue here, again, is not that the initial rates, which could be changed at any time, start taxing retirement income. It's that this gives them new powers, which makes it structurally easier for them to tax retirement income. And yes, frankly, they're lying. I mean, this is currently the subject of an ongoing lawsuit. The Illinois Policy Institute joined with 3 retirees in Cook County, in part to sue over the misleading language on the ballot and the misleading mailings that went out from the Secretary of State, in part because of this issue about taxing retirement income. Because they say in that mailing that was paid for by taxpayers that the amendment does not tax retirement income. Now, if you read that, you might think that the amendment prevents a tax on retirement income rather than making it easier. So yes, they're being dishonest, and that's why we're suing, to try to get the honest information out there and to give voters, accurate information when they're voting on this.
Last question for you, Adam. We're talking about the what's at stake here, and what you're telling me is that whatever they're suggesting to you are going to be the tax rates, if this passes with a yes vote, that can change with one single vote with a simple majority in the legislature. So it would be incredibly easy for them. It would be incredibly easy for them to pass this, where our local Metro East representatives, the Democrats like Katie Stewart, who is a Mike Madigan funded candidate down here, and Monica Bristow, who is a Mike Madigan funded Democrat candidate down here, both who we should unseat. They can vote no for this. And they've got so many votes. They have such a strong majority right now in the legislature that a lot of these downstate Democrats are going to vote against it. Mike Madigan's going to let them. And they could still adjust these rates with any amount that they feel like they could actually get through. Adam, in your professional opinion, as a senior director of budget and tax research, to fix the problem that is ahead of us, how far do you think that this Democrat-controlled legislature and governor would take these tax rates in order to address the problems facing our state? How high could these tax rates go?
Well, for example, we ran the numbers on what it would take to actually, raise enough money to close the gap in our pension system. That would have to be about a 21% tax increase on everybody above and beyond the first rate proposal. So the rates that they're sending mailers out on, all of those rates would have to go up by about 21% to actually raise enough money to close this gap. There's other ways you could estimate, how much would they try to raise. There's about a $15 billion structural budget deficit, and Governor Pritzker campaigned on an additional $10 billion in new spending. Now, maybe he's not going to push for that new spending on the other side of the pandemic. It's anybody's guess. But at the very least, he's staring down a $15 billion structural deficit. There is simply no way that he can raise the amount of revenue to close that deficit just by hitting people making $250,000 or more a year. So, how low will the brackets go? How high will the rates go? It's anybody's guess. But the problem here is that, they're leaving it in the hands of the politicians to make those decisions, and they're tricking the voters into thinking that we're the ones making that decision. It's a classic bait and switch. And I think you made a very smart point about protecting members in sort of swing districts or districts that might lean conservative or that could flip, because what they had to get every Democrat to vote in favor of the constitutional amendment. So they had to put all of them on it. And they're using this bait and switch tactic where they can say they voted for a tax increase only on the rich people, but they're actually voting to make it easier to raise taxes on retirees and the middle class in the future. So then if they don't vote on that next set of rates, it gives them this plausible deniability. And I think that's exactly what's going on here.
Adam Schuster, you're the expert on this, and it's so valuable to have your voice here on the Annie Fry Show. Thank you. We're going to continue to talk about this up until Election Day and urge a massive hell no vote on the unfair tax on your ballot. Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Adam Schuster there, IllinoisPolicy.org. Go check out more information there if you want facts. It's so compelling to me how effective the Illinois Policy Institute is doing on getting real numbers out to people, because the Illinois Policy Institute is the number one cited, special interest. I don't know that they're a special interest group. They're a lobbying group that is out there trying to provide this statistical information for you so you can see what this is actually going to do. I called Katie Stewart's office back when this vote was being taken because they needed to make sure that they had to vote in Congress, in the state General Assembly, I should say. They had to vote in the General Assembly to put this amendment on the ballot. And I called Katie Stewart's office to urge her to vote no. I talked to a nice young woman there who was answering phone calls, and I said I'd like to talk to her about it. She wasn't there, but she said she would take my message and make sure that the representative got it. In the process of doing that, the woman who took my call said, I looked into this myself, and I'm supposed to get like $300 back a year if this passes. And it's really going to benefit most people in Illinois. And it's only going to raise taxes on like the super wealthy. But she basically told me that this was not going to raise taxes on me, but she was doing it based on what she had heard. And I said, Is the representative going to vote yes or no on this? And she said she didn't have an answer to that yet. Katie Stewart, Democrat, Mike Madigan funded Democrat in the 112th district right here in the Metro East, voted in favor of this because she said she wanted voters to have a voice on this issue. What about term limits? What about pension reform? Anything else we get to have a vote on, or just whether or not our taxes are going to get raised under the guise of lies that are being told in your mailbox? Governor Pritzker himself, out of his pocket, has spent $56 million. What is that? That's like monopoly money. $56 million that he has saturated into trying to dupe you into thinking that this isn't going to affect you. Why wouldn't you raise taxes on somebody else's dollars? Guess what? All those rich people can afford to pick up and move, and they will. And guess who's going to get left holding the bag? You and me. The non-rich people who have constantly been taxed over and over and over again to try to fix the problems that this legislature can't fix on their own. That's their responsibility. Katie Stewart and Monica Bristow, these two Democrats right across the river here in the Metro East, are making over $70,000 as representatives. State representatives making $70,000. That's their salary. And they want to tell you that you need to vote yes on this because, it's just going to tax the wealthy higher. Give me a break. To quote somebody in the comments here on Facebook Live, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market games without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
If you are looking for a home warranty, please check out my friends at Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. That maintenance part of their title is extremely important. Most home warranty companies out there want to deny your claim due to lack of maintenance. They claim you haven't been taking care of your equipment over time, so they don't have to help you out. Well, at Upkeep, they completely eliminate that worry by sending their own technicians out to your home 4 times a year to do the general maintenance for you. And if you ever need service done, they will either repair or replace your equipment, and that work is also being done by an Upkeep employee. It's not a third-party contractor trying to upsell you. Their plans are extremely affordable. You can even divide your payments up over the 12 months of the year. And when you use code DGS, you get $100 off your service. To check out all of their different home warranty plans, go to their website, upkeepstl.com. That's upkeepstl.com.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk, and in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcast on radio.com. That's radio.com, and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Has this ever happened to you? I wasn't feeling so great, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by really uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal information is being bought and sold. I got DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
St. Louis's top choice for fall outings is Brookdale Farms. By day, bring the whole family to pick a pumpkin, get lost in the giant corn maze, bounce on the giant inflatables, a kid's zip line, hay rides, a petting zoo, pony rides, and more. There's a photo op at every corner. But it all changes when the sun goes down. Try and survive the Eureka Fear Farm with zombie paintball, Red's Corn Maze Massacre, and Farmer Bob's Haunted Hayride. Come hungry and enjoy the feed bin and the sugar shack. For details and directions, go to BrookdaleFarmsInc.com.
Celebrating 20 years of the Dave Glover Show on 97.1 with the DGS's greatest hits. Brought to you by Michael's Flooring Outlet.
Quote unquote, the world's hottest chocolate bar. Hey, Taliban, will you eat one tiny square for $20?
What is it? What does it taste like?
Chocolate.
Don't say chocolate.
Spicy chocolate.
Nothing ventured. I'm getting out of his way.
Tell me if it spreads.
We're on the radio.
Good grief.
We're on the radio. Okay. Now we'd like to sell you a soda for $180. Are you interested?
Give me that 20 back.
Is it spreading? I need to know if it's spread.
And another 20.
Yes, it's spreading. I got a cup of ice water here. I'm thinking maybe $60. Here we go. Here.
He's on the ground.
DGS 20. Listen. Mike of Michael's Flooring Outlet. Proud to be Dave's first live endorsement and being part of so many sweet memories for the past 20 years. Thank you again, St. Louis and the Dave Glover Show. 97.1. Rock on. Check me out. IGotFloored.com.
If you're one of the many working from home these days or running your business remotely, you need a strong technology company that can handle any cloud, VoIP, Wi-Fi, or fiber needs. Look no further than Arcadia Valley Communications. They've got 50 years combined experience and prices that smoke the competition. Get your company connected by calling Ron Elkins at 314-924-3160 for a free technology assessment for your home or business. Find out what Arcadia can do for you. Visit them online at arcadiavalleycommunications.com.
More people are landing on 97.1 FM Talk every day. It's St. Louis's radio destination for information with perspective. 97.1 FM Talk, the place for ideas.
I'm not afraid of getting older. I'm one less day from dying young. I see the light go past my shoulder. I'm one less day from dying young. I see my life.
So the topics for the October 22nd presidential debate have been selected. You guys interested in hearing what that's going to be? Are we getting together again?
Yes.
I don't see why not.
Heck
No reason not to. So I really can't stress enough how much you need to be connected to our Annie Fry YouTube page, because we have a lot of fun over there, and we have lots of tricks up our sleeves for after the election, which is, we are so close. 18 days, I think. Isn't that right?
I think
That's a little bit of a frightening number. I hope it's more.
No,
it's less.
No,
It's either that or less. Yeah.
I mean, it's 18 days and counting, because who knows how long it's going to last. I'm looking at the Fox News television screen right now, and they've got the maps up with the red states and the blue states and the red counties and the blue counties, and I can't believe I haven't seen that until October 16th. It's because there's been so much other news going on. And all right, so the topics selected for the October 22nd presidential debate, according to the Commission on Presidential Debates, which is like really having a good week, they include fighting COVID-19, American families, race in America, climate change, national security, and leadership. Okay.
American families. That's a nice broad topic.
I
No
like it.
idea
I
what
wish
that means.
I wish we would talk more about it. How much would we be able to solve in our country if we would invest once again in the family unit?
And how
agree.
How much more relatable can Donald Trump be whenever he gets time to really say a platform that he's working on to make the family unit stronger, and also to talk about his own family? I think,
and then we could talk about Joe Biden's family.
Yeah, totally.
We should do that.
Win-win.
So, how did you guys take in last night?
How did I consume it? I just watched it through clips. I didn't watch it live.
So you didn't watch any of it live?
No.
Katie, what did you do?
I watched it live. Excuse me. I didn't watch it live. I watched the
exact opposite.
Fact check.
Sorry, excuse me. I watched it at 10 o'clock last
Katie
night.
just
so 2
real time
hours.
fact checked herself
Yes.
immediately after stating something. I've never heard that.
Excuse me. I did not do that. I watched it in its entirety. That's what I meant to say. But I watched it 2 hours delayed. I thought it was really weird. I thought it was just so bizarre. I would have loved to see a debate. And I think that that's what I was holding on to. I'm like,
How dumb is it that they were both debating people who were sitting equidistant apart from one another? Like, George Stephanopoulos was as far from Joe Biden as Savannah Guthrie was, except for when she was going at Trump's throat. And they were separated. They could have been facing each other.
And also, I thought that these town halls were about the voters asking the questions.
Great point.
Why
Silly
the
Katie,
hell?
town halls are for the mainstream media.
I mean, honestly, I'm like, okay, Savannah, we already know who you are. We already know how you feel about Donald Trump. We know how your network feels about Donald
Sure
Trump.
do now.
Let the people speak. They had great questions. They had wonderful questions, and they were totally steamrolled by Savannah Guthrie and her persistent and interrupting tone.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, you have a great smile.
Thank you.
You're so handsome when you smile.
Oh man, this woman. That killed me. And it was real. And she was a Biden voter. Like when they came up, Savannah Guthrie's like, this woman, I think she was a Republican who voted Clinton in 2016 and is leaning Biden in this one. And I'm like, way to go, NBC. Slow clap for you.
Good
And I'm like,
job.
here we go. And then she's like, you're so handsome. And I'm like, didn't see that coming. That was a shocker. I did not see that coming. Well, the person who really took over the conversation during the event and after the event, and specifically for me, if you were watching, did a live stream last night on the YouTube page, and it was great fun. We all discussed what was going on together, but we all agreed that Red Mask Lady was amazing. Did you see Red Mask Lady last night, you guys? Did you see how emphatic she was? There are so many people who are saying that the Trump administration or the Trump campaign paid to have her sit there. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think that there's an amount of money that NBC would be willing to take to allow that to happen. That didn't happen. And it turns out she is somebody, and I'm working hard on getting her on the show. I wanted to get her on the show today. I'm going to keep working over the weekend. But she sat behind the president, and Savannah Guthrie is just like spewing venom the entire time towards Trump. And this Red Mask Lady is sitting behind her, and she is just shaking her head no. And then Trump starts making the point, and she is just emphatically making her head bob. Yes, yes, yes. And then at times she's giving thumbs up, and it was just like, it was unavoidable. You couldn't not see it. And America had an opinion on her last night. You loved her or you hated her. For sure. Dan Bongino tweeted, the hero we all needed today, # nodding woman. And I retweeted it and said, who is Red Mask Lady? Love her. And this is the most trafficked tweet that I've ever put out. Right now, it's got over 87,000 likes. I don't have 87,000 anything crazy in my life. It's been nuts, but it's clear to me. I thought this is such an interesting thing because I'm not really like a prominent person on Twitter or anything, but America latched on to her so quickly because watching Savannah Guthrie nip at Donald Trump, and Donald Trump came back in a Trumpian kind of way, but he out mean girled her. It was amazing to watch. It was amazing to see how she kept interrupting him. Like everything that they were criticizing Donald Trump for doing at the last debate, which was rightfully criticized, Savannah Guthrie was doing that to him. And I didn't know that it was possible. I even said at the beginning of the live that I did last night that this is a really good situation that Trump can put himself, naively and idealistically in a situation in this really nice set that they had, speaking to a woman, and use it as an opportunity to really calm and tone down those embers that were still glowing from the last debate. And she was like blowtorching him the entire time. And this woman behind Donald Trump was what we all needed. It got us through. To Dan Bongino's point, the hero we all needed today. And I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing to watch. So I highly encourage you to, if you haven't seen the debate, you can go see it on my Twitter, but you can see it everywhere right now. Red Mask Lady was my absolute favorite.
It was such a great microcosm of the whole race, and probably even beyond just this year, that Joe Biden's off doing his thing with George Stephanopoulos, who worked for the Clintons. It's like clearly a Democratic operative. And then Trump has to go on NBC to counter it just so that he's getting equal airtime, which he didn't. He went a little shorter than Biden. With Savannah Guthrie, who's married to Al Gore's former chief of staff. Like, if that's not a microcosm of the media environment that Donald Trump is up against and Republicans have been up against for a long time, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's really something to take in. So I want you to check out Red Mask Lady if you haven't done that yet. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Tony Colombo is going to be in the room. We are going to do a little Annie, Are You Okay? to wrap up the week. Oh, my gosh. Hey, guys, it's Friday. I just remembered. Is it as exciting for you to hear that as it is for me?
Yay.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Annie, are you okay with Friday? Yes, I am. Who speaks in the first person like that? What is it? Third person? That's third person.
That's third.
Man, grammar. Hard Friday. Quick break. We'll be back. I'm going to do a little grammatical education here on the break. Don't go anywhere.
And I couldn't take them back. And I've been running around in circles till I'm dizzy.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I'm not afraid of getting
I'm Eva, and I'm 4, and I love Mommy so, and I love Katie, and mine's Billy.
from dying young.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
NationalRarities.com, national company located in St. Louis. It's always fun to be able to talk about these big companies that seem like they're big, but then you find out, no, this is a homegrown business right here out of St. Louis, Missouri. You need to check them out, located in West County on Manchester and Mason. So if you've got a treasure, if you've got a trinket, if you've got an heirloom, and it's sitting collecting dust in the attic, in the drawer, in a basement, in a storage box somewhere, and you want to know what the value is, and you're thinking about selling it, you don't have to sell it. Go to National Rarities. You can call them and make an appointment. And when you set up this appointment, mention Annie, because I've swindled a deal out of them to give you 10% over the value of your item if you mention my name, Annie. Which the only part of that is true is that they're going to give you the 10% over the value, because I didn't swindle that. They offered it because National Rarities is pretty sweet. If you're looking for an opportunity to find out what the value is and get a great price on it, you need to send that trinket, send that treasure by going to 888-787-1112, 888-787-1112. Make that appointment and check out what you can get. And then let me know about it, because this is one of the coolest things that I get to talk about, and I love hearing your stories. NationalRarities.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
Your energy needs are changing. That's why Ameren, Missouri isn't waiting on the future. We're building it with a smart energy plan, advancing thousands of projects across the state. Here in St. Louis, we're adding new clean energy sources and installing new composite poles to better withstand storms. Moving Missouri closer to a future of energy centered around you. That's energy at work. Learn more at AmerenMissouri.com/plan.
Find your perfect Mazda with significant savings from all 3 Bomarito Mazda locations. Over 500 2020 Mazdas to choose from in every color and style. Plus, every new Mazda has the Bomarito nationwide warranty. 10 years, 200,000 miles. Right now, buy a 2020 Mazda from Bomarito with 0% interest for 60 months and 90 days deferred payment. That's at all 3 Bomarito Mazda locations.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. If your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant healthcare program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
Your energy needs are changing. That's why Ameren, Missouri isn't waiting on the future. We're building it with a smart energy plan, advancing thousands of projects across the state. Here in St. Louis, we're adding new clean energy sources and installing new composite poles to better withstand storms. Moving Missouri closer to a future of energy centered around you. That's energy at work. Learn more at AmerenMissouri.com/plan.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
The Randy Tobler Show.
Madeline Westerhout, author of Off the Record.
I said some things that I should never have said, and that information eventually got back to the president.
Saturday morning from 6 to 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
The rain is coming down tonight. I'm smiling, looking at this photograph. I hear that song and I'm flying right back to when we had it made. Every Friday night when the sun went down, we'd be running them streets like we owned the town.
Welcome back to the Annie Price Show. It's Friday. We are about to be done here, but going to encourage you to stick around because it's a big day for 97.1. We're celebrating 20 years here as a station, which is quite a feat. 97.1's been around for a few decades. We've seen a few things, and somebody who has been there for basically the entire time, Tony Colombo, is in studio with us now on Friday, like he always is. Before we get to Annie, are you okay? Tony, 20 years of 97.1 and 20 years of the Dave Glover Show coming up next. A big celebration for Dave Glover's career and everything that he's accomplished here on 97.1. You've been with him for the longest here. What are you thinking about the show coming up? It's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, I cannot wait for these next 4 hours. Anybody who is a fan of the radio station, a fan of the Dave Glover Show, this is going to be like a 4 hour, I want to say time capsule, but it's not going to be, it's not going to just be the olden days stuff either. There's going to be, a lot of stuff that's recent that we get a chance to revisit and stories that we get to tell. But we have an interview coming up with Tom Turbrock, who, of course, was such a big part of the show for so many years. We had a chance to, Rachel and I had a chance to interview Dave's mom for the first time ever. So we're going to play that interview for you today. And there is just a ton of surprises. There's some things that Dave knows about. There's some things that Dave doesn't know about. And there's going to be a ton of guests. There's going to be a lot of pre-recorded things that we were able to,
Tony,
gather.
When people don't work in radio, they probably don't always know how cutthroat this industry is. And there's the shelf life for a career at any given station it's usually pretty short. If you spent 5 years at a station, this is a pretty long time. That's like, you could say, I spent 5 years at such and such. How long have you been with 97.1 and moved from ownership to ownership, but stayed employed by the same, like essentially just kind of moved through without?
So I made my first appearance on 97.1 was on the Dave Glover Show in 2001. So I've been a part of the Dave Glover Show for 19 of the 20 years. And when I originally started, I was like the original, like we have right now, we have Tim Convey from Y98 and we have our friend Trish Gazelle from 102.5 who are regular guests on the show. I was the original one of them. I was working for another one of our radio stations, doing FM music, DJing, and Dave
was at the mall.
At 104.1 The Mall.
Is that 91?
No, 2001. Yeah, 2001.
Or 2001. I mean,
yeah. Don't do that to me.
Happy 60th, Tony.
Although I did start
scratch everything, Rachel. This is actually the 30th.
I did start in radio in 1997, so it's not that far off. But
I was finishing 7th grade.
Yeah, thanks. So I was like the original one of those sister station DJs that would come over and make regular appearances. So I was doing my own thing in radio music, but then also being a regular on the Dave Glover Show. And then, of course, that relationship strengthened and grew throughout the years. And so I've had a chance to have a front row seat to almost all 20 years.
Yeah. And real quick,
amazing show.
What does it take?
It's
what do you have to do to keep your show alive for 20 years?
He's done a lot of bad things. And yeah, and some of that is going to be exposed today. There's going to be
that's a nice tease,
right?
Some sort of huge bomb drop on his 25th anniversary.
Yeah, this is probably going to be his last show. So you definitely want to listen because we're going to expose him. No, it's incredible. I don't even know.
Not many shows get to say
not
that
very
you've
many
had
radio
that much
stations
success. Yeah.
Make it 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
let alone a show that's got to morph over the course of time. I mean, it is such an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, a lot of stations don't make it 2 decades. So for this radio station to have one show that has been on since day one, Dave was on 97.1 when the radio station started. That is incredible. That is, it's just. You find very few people in this industry that have been able to do that. So we're going to celebrate it. We're going to celebrate it today, and it is going to be a blast. So get a beverage and settle in. And, you know, a lot of people only listen for a few minutes every day while they're driving or something like this. This is a show that you are going to want to just sit down and spend the whole 4 hours with us, because it's going to be, we got so much
right
coming.
Here after our show gets done. I'm going to make a little bit of an appearance in the show as well. Don't know if I'm scooping anything there, but you'll want to stick around to hear that. Tony will be there the whole time. 20 years for 97.1, the Dave Glover show, there at the very beginning of it. And just like I said, that is an amazing feat. He needs to teach a master class and being able to stick around in this industry, because it is almost unheard of. Katie, let's get to the Annie.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
All right, what you got?
Coronavirus themed Christmas ornaments are selling out in record time online.
That's weird.
These ornaments include things like Santa wearing a mask, a bottle of hand sanitizer, and a roll of toilet paper.
Because we need more things to remind us about.
I might put a Santa Claus with a mask on my tree.
And that's the Annie. I know your Christmas decorations have been up for a few weeks at this point, but are you okay with hanging a roll of toilet paper on your tree?
No teepee. I think the teepee thing was overstated. You know, it just showed that what kind of panicky, unprepared situation we live in. It wasn't that people needed toilet paper; it's just that people panicked, and toilet paper was the method.
And I read a story that the run on toilet paper and canned goods and paper towels is all starting back up right now, because we're going into the winter.
No,
and there's supposed to be, there's this phase 2 or whatever they call it. So yeah, there's already people hoarding toilet paper and paper towels and everything again.
Give me a Santa Claus with a mask on. I'd hang that on my tree, but that's probably about it.
There's a 30-year-old guy named Mark Rolfe in Sheffield, England, and back in January,
I'm not okay with that last name.
He spent $550 to rent a billboard to try to find himself a girlfriend.
Oh.
The billboard said, quote, single,
how much?
Date Mark, $550. That's it.
That's cheap.
Can I get a billboard for $550?
Right.
As long as
How
you're
long
looking
is this
for a
up?
mate.
I need to know more information.
The billboard said simply, single, date Mark. This could be the sign you've been waiting for.
Oh my gosh.
And somehow this
That's the
actually
worst line, and it's huge. On a
and
billboard.
it worked. A 28-year-old woman reached out to Mark through the website that he put on the billboard. He wound up going on a date with her, as well as 2 other women who applied. Don't like that word, but he
Sounds
connected.
like something Donald Trump would do.
He connected with this other woman the most, and now they're in a relationship, and they say that they are in love. Annie, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was
Ask
going
a
to say, when your kids reach dating age, if one of them said to you, I saw a billboard, Mom, for somebody looking for a date, I'm going to give them a call. Would you be okay with that?
First, we'd watch To Catch a Predator, and then we would discuss the dangers of dating just in general. And then I would say no. Go to youth group at church and find a nice boy or girl. I guess I don't know. I can't imagine that there would be, well, whatever. That's sexist, I guess. There would be girls.
Katie, hit the button.
No girl would
Hit
do
the button,
this.
hit the
Hit the button and bail her out.
Good for Mark.
You should have heard
You know
the
what?
earlier
Yeah,
part
I
of the
don't
show.
trust the
Mark.
billboard more than some online ad. You know?
Well, I was gonna say back in the day of when online dating started, people were like, online dating, you met online. Now everybody meets online. And I know I think 3 different couples who met online, and
they're the best people ever. I guess it cuts out a lot of the BS. So maybe billboards is the next. I don't know.
Could be. Hormel Foods has created a face mask that smells like bacon.
Ew.
They say it's a, quote, revolutionary face mask featuring the latest in pork-scented technology.
That sounds less good than the bacon line.
I really want nothing to do with anything that has to do with pork technology.
You can enter to win a free one of these at breathablebacon.com.
Gotta love the website name.
Annie, are you okay with wearing a mask that smells like bacon or any other meat product?
You can listen to any part of this show. You know the answer is no. No bacon mask.
Like in some bacon grease. Like you need to buy it.
Even things that I think smell great, I can't imagine having
it's not
that
gonna
in my
smell like
mask.
actual bacon. It's like grape doesn't smell like grape. Do you want like off-brand bacon smell? No.
I did hear a tip that if you are having breathing,
Tip time, guys. Tip time.
Here's a tip.
Hey, tip time. It's tip time with Kitty.
If you are having trouble breathing in a mask, you can rub Vicks on the inside of it, and
Clears
that
up your
it clears up your sinuses.
Yeah, okay, Annie. That was tip time with Kitty.
All
Just
right.
saying. I heard.
Is the Vicks bacon flavored?
No.
Walmart.
It's not.
What?
Walmart.
Why are we down under all of a sudden?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
understand. What happened?
I don't know what happened there at all.
And it just
I
ended
don't know.
there.
We're
I
almost
don't know
done.
what happened there.
We're almost there.
Walmart.
Can you do this? Can you do this one like prepare the children?
I could try to do it Australian style.
Yeah, do that.
You know, I changed the phone, the voice on my phone to an Australian accent.
Oh,
It's so
that's
amazing.
I just like to,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my
Variety.
grandma was
It's
from
more fun.
Australia.
Yeah.
I'm a quarter Aussie. Love it. It's my favorite part.
Walmart doesn't want its annual Black Friday stampede.
Stampede. Here we go.
No,
we
you
go.
did Southern. That's not Australian.
No, that was
That's
called an
offensive to Southern
accident.
people.
Walmart doesn't want its annual Black Friday stampede this year, where people will get trampled and coronavirus.
Just tell them to
is
socially
happening
Just this
distance.
year, though.
all at
Just
the
take
same
1
time.
year off from that.
So the plan is holding 3 Black Fridays in their
that'll stop
stores
'em.
instead.
That'll stop them.
Man, I thought you were going to say a virtual Black Friday.
They think that this
Oh.
will
Lose their
have
mind.
this will create smaller crowds, more socially distanced stampades, I guess.
Yeah,
Their
kind of
Black
stampades.
Friday for toys, electronics, and home products is on November 7th, and Black Friday for computers, movies, and music is on November 14th. Both of those are Saturdays.
You know what? This is the stupidest thing ever. It's going to create more stampedes.
So the first
Instead
two,
of just doing
yeah.
it as one super
Right.
spreader event, now you've created 3. Well done, Walmart.
So the
I'll be there.
first 2 Black Fridays are on Saturdays, and then there's the traditional Black Friday on Black Friday itself. Annie, are you okay with not 1, not 2, but 3 Black Fridays this year?
The more sales, the better. And if you want to go be there and do that, you go be there and do that. I think that the reasoning behind it's maybe a little faulty, but Katie, anything else you want to say like that? Because I'm ready for it.
I don't know. Now I'm on the spot.
Too much pressure. Tony, we're going to stick around and listen to the entire DGS coming up as
It's
they
going to be
celebrate
awesome. Don't go
20
anywhere.
years. Congratulations to you as well. You've been such an integral part of that show, and Dave and the whole crew. It takes a whole bunch of people to make something like that happen. So it's a big celebration coming up. If you want to check out our podcast, go to radio.com, type in Annie Fry Show, and subscribe to the podcast there. Join us on our YouTube page, Annie Fry YouTube page. Go give us a subscription there as well. Thank you for listening. Congratulations, DGS. 20 years. Amazing. Can't wait to hear the celebration.
How do you know when someone is in the extreme?